So as you can see, the top level vote did not pass, which was kind of what people were expecting. Um, Copyright passed, accessibility and inclusion passed, clarity and streamlining passed. Equipment did not pass. Martial, both martial and magic classes did not pass. Okay, cool. I believe the stream should be active now. Could somebody else confirm that for me?
It is active.
Sweet. Um, so yeah. Classes work passed, class symbols did not pass, changes to abilities passed. Okay, so the first item on our agenda is this rules revision package. So all 23 of you have very generously donated your time outside of this meeting to filling in that extensive pre-ballot form for us. Greatly appreciated because that is going to speed things up here. What we are going to do is I am going to solicit universal consent from the 23 kingdoms to consider the votes that they have entered on their pre-ballots to be votes actually cast in the meeting. So until you all agree to that, those are currently just form entries and they're not actual votes. So the way this is going to work is I am going to finish explaining what's going on, and then I'm going to say all those in favor say aye, and hopefully all of you say aye, and then I'm going to say all those in favor say nay, and hopefully nobody says nay. And then a- assuming that that goes smoothly, then your pre-ballots become votes, and the pass-fail status of all of those proposals and sub-proposals becomes what you see in the pre-ballot results tab. Um, you will have the opportunity to change votes after that, but that will be through discussion and revote in the context of the meeting. Once we enter these votes, you will not be able to just like message Vidalia and say, oops, we changed our mind on 2C3. Can you please flip that for us? Hopefully that distinction makes sense. Are there any questions about this procedure for soliciting universal consent to have the ballots, pre-ballots converted to actual votes? And I see a raised hand. Crystal Groves, you were first.
Is it universal consent or unanimous consent? Are we going to require unanimity for the vote to pass, or are we just requiring some other standard?
We are requiring unanimity, which I really, really hope we get. Like, why would anyone want to be difficult about this? If we don't get it, then we will figure things out from there. All right. Neverwinter?
I just want to double check that the pass all changes for item one is only for the rules revision, not for any other thing, like for example, the other items in our meeting, right?
Um, correct. Pass all changes means pass all of the proposals that came out of the rule revision process.
Thank you so much.
All right. Looks like that's it for the questions. So, Taldegor, please.
Just to clarify, I understood you correctly. After we have the yay nay for universal consent, after that, as we go through the items, we are still during discussion able to change a vote on an item.
Correct. We have
Okay.
allotted a generous amount of time for potential discussion and revote
Okay.
of these initial votes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So all those in favor of converting the pre-ballot entries into actual votes, please say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
All those opposed to converting the pre-ballot entries to actual votes, please say nay. Yay. Okay, so we have all of these votes entered now. All right. So I wrote up a procedures outline for how I was going to handle this part, which I don't know if anybody actually read anyway. I am modifying it slightly from what I said a few days ago. So if you look at the second highest level of packages, so not pass all changes, but everything below pass all changes, like 2A, 2B, etc., like that. Actually, you have to go down one more level. So it's 3 class packages. Vidalia, could you scroll down to martial classes, please? Let me finish my thought and then I'll get to you. Iron Mountains, I see you. All right. All right. So you see Barbarian, scroll down a little bit. Barbarian failed. Oh, no, wait. Monk, Scout, and then scroll down to Wizard. Monk, Scout, and Wizard all passed, which I originally said meant that we were not going to look at their line items, but they passed by a margin of a single vote. Like one vote flipping on those could cause them to fail. So due to how close those are, I wanted to first, before we delve into individual line items, see if there was anybody interested in discussion and revote of those class level packages. But before we actually do that, I want to see what Iron Mountains had to say.
Would it be possible to get a view-only link of that document in chat so we can scroll through during discussion?
I believe it was pasted way, way back at the beginning, but I'm sure we could get it repasted.
It is currently available on the AmpGuard International Circle of Monarchs Facebook. It is listed in the announcement section on Discord, and it is pasted at the beginning of the chat for Zoom. And in the private Circle of Monarchs chat as well on Discord.
Cool. So, a general explanation of how discussion and revote on these things is going to work. I am going to go through stuff in priority order, of what I think is things that either passed or failed very, very narrowly, or things that I think that you are likely to most want to take a look at and ask, does anyone want to take a look at it? And if nobody says anything, we will just go on to the next thing and ask, does anyone want to take a look at this one then? And until we get to one that we need to dive into. And then when we find one that we're going to dive into, there will be an open-ended discussion period. And then when you're done talking about it, we'll revote it. I saw a raised hand. It seems like it went down again. So that's the general, that's the overall meta procedure of how we're going to be going through these. You do have the option of motioning like, hey, I really, really care about this one. Can we please skip immediately to it? But it might be more efficient to not do that and just work through in the order that I've had prepared. Also, at any point, if you think that we're good and we've covered everything that is like worth looking at or revoting or that has a chance to change, you can motion to say, done with this agenda item, let's move on to the rest of the meeting. So with all that said, does anybody want to motion for discussion and revote of, what was the first one of those? One of the passing ones, Monk, right? All right. RRO, you have the floor. However,
Oh, sorry. I was testing the thing and I did not mean to actually raise my hand.
oh
I'm
wait,
sorry.
you're also your kingdom rep, aren't you?
I am, yes.
Yeah, I forgot that. So, So are you motioning for a revote of Monk?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Okay, cool. No one else? All right, what about Scout? Rivermore?
Thank you, Chair. I guess I want to maybe make a blanket statement in our reconsideration of martial classes as well as magic classes. During our kingdom discussions, folks really felt that line item removing things was going to begin to create imbalance in between some of the classes and some of the archetypes. And so I was counseled by our battle masters that they felt very strongly that we should not line item any of these in order to that it would create imbalance. So we should not pick and choose. And so I was just saying we felt very strongly that blanket approvals for both martial classes as well as magic classes was a good idea. And I don't know if anybody else felt the same.
Okay, I do have a comment I want to make on that, which is that one of the barbarian light items was hardwired with a provision that if certain other things pass, then it is included because the barbarian rules lose integrity if they get cut apart like that. And I would assume that the rules rep team put similar provisions for things that can't really be picked apart. Um, Hopefully, they are confident that the packages were distributed in such a way that anything that they allowed should be able to work right. And I was expecting you were going to raise your hand at this point, so please speak, Aaron.
Yeah, so in general, I would agree that for the most part, all of these changes were made with the other changes in mind. They are meant to go together, and that's why they're grouped together originally. The only ones that are explicitly linked like that are Rage with the archetypes, just so that we don't wind up in a situation where we have, for example, Berserker, but with Fight After Death, because uh, because nobody really wants them to have Fight After Death once per life. That would be crazy, or rechargeable, that is. Uh, Other than that, we don't. There are some that we were strongly considering doing that for, such as linking monk armor with the other archetypes, specifically because Mystic, Medium, loses that armor as a downside. But people felt that the monk class would be generally too weak without the armor anyway, and they wanted to have the option for people to take medium anyway to keep monk relevant in the case that that does not pass on its own.
Thank you. Okay, so relevant to what we were just saying, Barbarian is a package failed, but Berserker and Raider both passed, which I believe means that due to that hardwiring, Rage also automatically passes. So does anybody have an issue with this and want to revote either Berserker or Raider? Good. All right, so Rage is currently auto passing. Celestial Kingdom, please.
Uh, my kingdom overwhelmingly dislikes Rage, but because it's hardwired in, I voted in favor of Barbarian as a whole. So is it possible to just maybe revote Barbarian as a whole, since we know that Rage is hardwired into the others, and maybe see if we can get it to pass? Because the archetypes are very much tied into Rage, and I know my kingdom doesn't really like Rage, but the archetypes are built into them.
So if I understand the proposal construction correctly, Barbarian did fail, but because Berserker and Raider passed, that auto passed Rage, which means all the individual components of Barbarian pass, even though the kingdoms voted down Barbarian. Um,
It,
so so we can try to kill Berserker and Raider in order to undo that situation. And we can also revote Barbarian if like people would just like it to have the record like match that the thing that actually happened also matches the vote. Do you think that's worthwhile?
Yeah, I feel like since the two Berserker and Raider passed, that is basically Barbarian passing, even though Rage, which is the thing my kingdom didn't like about Barbarian, failed. It's integral to the two archetypes that did pass. So I feel like maybe if we could just revote Barbarian as a whole, excluding the idea of a Rage, just we're basically approving Berserker and Raider as being a thing with Rage.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. We will do that. I mean, sorry, you need a second. Crystal Gross, please.
Um, I mean, like I can see why it would be nice to have the green across the thing. If both the sub items pass and that passes Rage, do we need to spend the time? Is it likely we'll flip Barbarian? And if we don't flip Barbarian, nothing changes, right? And if we do flip Barbarian, nothing changes.
That is correct, but it is less time to just do the vote than to argue about whether to do the vote.
Fair enough.
Did you want a second then?
No, I won't second.
Okay.
Iron Mountains will second.
Okay. Taldegor?
I was going to second, but if it's already seconded, then we're good.
Okay. So, we're actually in the discussion part of discussion in revote on Barbarian, but I think nobody has anything more to say about Barbarian. So I will do a little pause in case anyone has anything more to say about Barbarian. And if I don't see any raised hands, we're going to go into a vote. Cool. Yep. And the secretary is already on the correct page. So everybody ready? Oh yes, how we were going to do revotes. I had a separate procedure for this. Hopefully this will be quicker. Instead of reading all 23 kingdom names, since we already have an initial set of votes, I'm going to ask everybody who would like to flip their vote or change it to something else, please raise your hand. And then we're going to process the raised hands, and then everybody else keeps their initial vote. Polaris, please.
Hi, I would like to change my vote to in favor.
Thank you. Golden Plains, please.
I would like to change mine as approved in favor as well.
Thank you. 13 Roads, please.
Would like to change it to approve as well.
Thank you. That seems Neverwinter, please.
I want to double check here. I'm voting yes to approve these changes, correct?
If you vote yes, you are approving the complete Barbarian package.
I changed my vote to yes.
Thank you. That appears to be everyone. So this is the new vote result for Barbarian. Looks like 20 yes, 3 no. So Barbarian package passes. So I believe I already asked if anybody wanted to discuss and revote Wizard, but I will ask one more time before we dive into the line items. Okay, looks like we are good to go into line items. So I have a sorted list of line items, both passing and failing, sorted by the margin by which they passed or failed that came from failing packages. So line items that came from past packages, we don't care about the votes on those because they passed because their package passed. So talking about line items from failed packages, the narrowest vote would be on ice ball frequency for healer. Does anybody want to motion for discussion and revote of healer ice ball frequency? It is currently failing. Northern Lights.
I would like to so motion.
Okay, Viridian Outlands.
I'd like to second.
Right, discussion is open. Northern Lights, please.
So in general, the reason that I want to motion on this one is because generally throughout the past couple years of playtest changes, playing Amtgard, people generally find Ice Ball to be a fairly problematic spell. Its frequency is very high. It is one of the great advantages that the magic classes have over martial classes is the ability to repeatedly freeze people for minutes at a time. We did a big old survey with 462 responses, and it is in every kingdom except for Burning Lands, at least a 2/3 majority. Oh, sorry, I see CK is only 57%. But everywhere else, at least a 2/3 majority in favor of keeping this change to reduce the number of ice balls. I think it's very healthy for the game, and I feel like we should retain this change.
Okay, Iron Mountains, please.
In addition to the points that Heron brought up, in this same vote, we have similar changes in line for both Druid and Wizard. So it would also feel like a disconnect where healer is the only one who is not affected by what should be a more sweeping change.
Okay, to possibly clarify what Iron Mountain said, the ice ball frequency for Druid and Wizard is passing. So with healer failing, it is failing, but the same change on two other classes is passing. Celestial Kingdoms, please.
We're generally in favor of reducing the ice balls, although I believe that just the frequency is insufficient. This is a step in the right direction. I think the effect of Ice Ball and Icy Blast honestly needs to be changed to apply like stopped and fragile rather than frozen. This is just a half step in the right direction.
All right, if nobody else has points of discussion, we're going to go into revote. Pausing a second here. Okay, everyone interested in changing your vote on ice ball frequency for healer, please raise your hand. 13 votes, please.
Like to move to approve.
Thank you. Polaris, please.
I would like to change my vote to approve.
Thank you. Nine Blades, please.
I would like to change our vote to approve.
Are there any other vote changes? Okay, with 20 yes and 3 no, ice ball frequency for healer now passes. So the next item on my sorted list is the change to allow siege weapons to fire javelins. Does anyone want to motion for discussion and revote of that one? Crystal Groves, please.
I would like to so motion.
Rivermore, please.
I would second the motion to reconsider and discuss.
Okay, Crystal Groves, do you want to start the discussion on this?
I would like to ask the representative for the Northern Lights to discuss a little bit about the sort of background behind this change, if that's okay.
Yeah, I can do that. So originally, this change was made because we realized that there were a number of siege weapons that a number of representatives had seen throughout Amtgard that fired javelins, or if not javelins, projectiles built to meet the technical qualifications of an arrow, but which to most eyes would resemble javelins. So basically what this rules change was meant to do was say, yes, you can build a siege weapon that fires javelins, but it has to do so safely. We're not anticipating that people are going to be making like full-size ballista and firing them 200 yards downfield. This would be for situations where somebody has like a slingshot that can fire 110 feet or 20 feet across a wall, or scenarios where they feel like they can incorporate something that looks like it fires a giant projectile, but uh, it still does need to meet all of the other same safety requirements as any other weapon. If it could cause injury to somebody, it shouldn't be allowed. Um, Ultimately, there aren't that many siege weapons. Even fewer of them fire javelins in the first place. Uh, but I do think that it's helpful for people creatively if they want to do this to be able to pursue it if they can do so safely.
Okay, two things. One, I should have clarified that this is currently passing, so we're seeing if people want to try to attempt to flip it to not pass. Second thing, Rivermore, did I move off from you too fast? Do you have more to say?
I was just going to stress that our master owls were incredibly concerned about the safety of the siege weapon firing javelin portion because we actually do not have a lot in the rules of play regarding what makes a siege weapon safe. It's actually kind of open-ended, and there was not a lot of discussion about that. And actually, there was earlier chatter amongst some of the Circle of Monarchs members that, wow, like I've had broken hands from jabs and everything like that. And I really think as a safety issue, this one should be voted down, which is why my populace encouraged me to not only vote no, but to speak up at this meeting about it. So thank you for your consideration and potential reconsideration.
Okay, thank you. Celestial Kingdom, please.
Um, I definitely have a lot of experience with being shot by javelins in my early days in Amp They typically came out of ballistas that looked like more or less historic ballistas. They were very safe in the methods that they were constructed. I don't think there's a big safety concern just with the idea of a javelin. The ones that were being fired back in the 90s were using those hollow, like golf tubes that you'd use to sort your golf clubs in a golf bag with foam on the end and foam fins. They honestly weighed probably less than an arrow really does now. And they were safe. I got hit with them sometimes at point blank. I did not suffer any injuries. I didn't see anybody suffering any injuries. And those were the constructions that I usually saw with those kinds of ballistas.
Okay. Thank you. Viridian Outlands, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think at the end of the day, something like a siege weapon is going to be a scenario, and really, like a game designer could say that somebody's weapon is a siege weapon if they really wanted. So, not having this in is not going to prevent people from shooting javelins. It's just going to prevent it from being in the rule book. Um, I think having it in the rule book is good for game designers and people to see as an option and something that they might look forward to and then be inspired to create.
Thank you. Northreach, please.
Hi there. Sorry, I wanted to chime in. I have previously built siege weapons in this game, dating back quite a while now. For clarity's sake, to my understanding, the biggest difference between a siege weapon projectile and a javelin is mostly just in the courtesy padding and the pommel, correct?
Are you addressing that to someone specific?
No, not particular. Just for clarity's sake, the way that I read the change, honestly, it sounds like it would make the projectile safer in every way. The back end of the projectile was always a concern on my end because no matter how I finned them, they would inevitably twist in air.
Oh, pardon me, let me interrupt for a second. I believe you may be confusing this one with the adjacent line item 2D8 double-ended javelins. We're currently discussing 2D7, which is siege weapons being allowed to fire javelins.
Yeah, that is what I was discussing.
Okay, maybe I didn't follow you then.
Sorry. I was just clarifying the difference in the construction between the two projectiles.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Neverwinter, please.
I just wanted to follow up with Celestial Kingdom. I don't know about last spring war, but the previous spring war that we had 2 years ago, there was a siege weapon that was throwing javelins. And as far as I'm concerned, it was pretty safely built. It was a lot of fun. They had a very clear structure on how they were going to use it and where it was shooting. And there was absolutely no issues that were major or at any that I ever heard of when it comes to the siege weapons. So I'm definitely for them. I think they're a lot of fun. And I'm pretty sure somebody else had also said here that, nothing is really stopping a game maker from saying, hey, that javelin that you have in your hands, guess what? That's a siege weapon now. So
Okay, thank you. 13 Roads, please.
Thank you. So my biggest concern here is we keep talking about the safeness that we've seen in the past from trusted game designers. We're putting these rules out here for the future, and we should be thinking least common denominator. The person that, okay, just because I will make something, and having something that can be shot from a siege weapon with a core is inherently dangerous. Think about our arrows. We talk about all sorts of safety things within them. Let's put something with a thicker core that's going to add weight, and potentially lots and lots of power. Just makes me very uncomfortable. Especially we talk about being able to half draw arrows, and if somebody gets too close, you can't do that with that siege weapon, and I fear for the lawsuits.
Thank you. Winter's Edge, please.
Yes, I just want to clarify our stance is for safety, which is why we had voted no. But the four arguments, if I'm to understand, is they were safe some of the time when it was used in a similar fashion to, like, we can quote arrows were safe. I have been shot with arrows plenty of times and they're safe, but it all comes down to the construction where opening up, like they said before, the cores, the liabilities, very suspect. And the other positives laid forward, they were fun when used. Would it have still been fun if there was another, if it wasn't a javelin, if it was still a siege with something else?
Thank you. West March, please.
So maybe I'm not seeing the issue here, but to me, if we make a big arrow, because there's nothing that stops the size of an arrow, then use it as a siege weapon. That's more dangerous than the javelin because it's got the metal head in it and everything. With the metal core or with the normal core in a javelin, yeah, it's adding weight over an arrow, but siege weapons still can fire an arrow. So you can make a large arrow to fire, which would be even less safe.
Thank you. Nine Blades, please.
So we have a big focus on safety here. We have had several injuries with arrows, and a siege weapon is just an even bigger bow. First off, I'm pretty sure that a siege weapon would be illegal in my country anyway. So you would think we wouldn't have a big stake in this, but we do travel, and we want to see the game be safe. What was said about lowest common denominator is absolutely true. You have to expect that people who are not absolute experts at building siege weapons are going to be trying these rules. You have to expect that people who do not have a great grasp on javelins will be using these rules. And you have to expect that not every reeve or person checking over these weapons is going to be an expert either. So it's a question of, you know, something like a rock is going to be padded all the way through. Something with a core is inherently dangerous coming out of a weapon. And again, we can't half draw with a siege weapon. So, my kingdom voted against this one because we want to see everyone safe and healthy.
Thank you. Black Spire, please.
Hey, Um, in regards to like safety and lowest common denominator things, I just kind of want to point out the actual use case of siege weapons. It's not as if it's a normal battle game thing where people just make a siege weapon and roll up to the field and like there's minimal checking. The siege weapons are like don't have a lot of regulation to what they even are in the rule book and what their power parameters are because the intention is that it's for scenarios, it's for specific situations, and they're tested thoroughly before. Uh, I think people shouldn't be letting uh, people shouldn't be letting players shoot other players with ballistae without a lot of testing in any scenario. I don't think that the advent of allowing javelins, a more padded option than arrows, uh, significantly increases the inherent danger. I think that that's all kind of on the testing phase. I know in Blackspire, anytime a siege weapon happens, it's tested thoroughly before the game happens because we don't have a rule about or many rules about what their parameters have to look like. So I don't know. I think this just kind of lies on the testing phase. So that's where I'm at on it.
Thank you. Iron Mountains, please.
Okay. So first, I would like to call attention to a comment that was made by Smiley in chat. That this needs extensive play testing. I understand we've been play testing this for a year. However, siege weapons are not going to be something that receive extensive play testing because of how rarely they are used. We have a few cases annotated where it has been play tested, but not enough. And I would also like to echo something said by Rivermore's representative. If this is something we want to allow, then we would need to see javelin construction requirements become a lot more detailed.
Thank you. Before I move on, I want to make a comment on procedure for everyone to be aware of. At any time, one of the kingdom representatives may offer the floor to a non-representative. So for instance, if you would wanted Smiley to speak on that point himself, you could have said, I think Smiley in chat has something to say and ceded the floor to him. Not saying you should have done that, just making sure every representative understands that they have that option. Burning Lands, please.
Yeah, I'd like to move for the vote.
Okay, is there a second to that?
Second.
Thank you. Moving directly into the vote on item 2D7, siege weapons may fire javelins. Good, all hands are down. Okay, if anyone would like to change their vote on this item, please raise your hand. Iron Mountains, please.
Iron Mountains would like to change their vote to no.
Thank you. Golden Plains, please.
Golden Plains would like to move to no.
Thank you. Tal Decor, please.
I'd like to change my mind to abstain.
Thank you. Is that it for changes? It looks like that is it. So we are at 14 yes, 7 no, 2 abstain, which is only 2/3 below the below the 3/4 margin needed to pass. So 2D7 siege weapons may fire javelins has changed from passing to not passing. Okay. Also, to answer Verdi and Ellen's question in the chat, yeah, sure, that would be quicker. Just use common sense. Thank you. So going down the list, next item is the other javelin one, 2D8 double-ended javelins. It is currently passing by the same margin that siege weapons may fire javelins was passing before we did this revote. So does anyone want to motion for discussion and revote of this item? Rivermore, please.
I would move to reconsider and have discussion on this item, please. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any seconds? You can just jump in and say it.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, so Rivermore, would you like to open discussion on this item?
Thank you, Chair. This was the other marked piece of equipment that my populace was very passionate about voting down, and that they asked me to speak up on. Our concerns are about having that they may be double-ended, not that they are required to be double-ended. During many of our kingdom level and inter-kingdom level battle games and events that I run, we have the comment, are we sharing today? Are we sharing arrows? Are we sharing throwies? Are we sharing jabs? And in this case, if some javelins may be double-ended, some may not be double-ended, we feel that there is too much confusion on the field and it becomes a safety issue. And again, per the last one, I feel that if we are going to be changing how we operate with javelins, that we need to have more rigorous construction rules regarding their safety. So that is why my populace asked me to please speak on that and to explain our safety concerns. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Northern Lights, please.
Hey there. I just wanted to speak on the original purpose behind this change, as well as my reason for voting yes on it. The original intent of it is because generally in previous editions, prior to version 8, double-ended javelins were allowed. They were safe. Well, as safe as the weapon that they're built in, I suppose. And they were fairly widespread. We have a number of javelins in my field, less now because time has passed, that when version 8 happened, they slapped a piece of athletic tape on one of the ends so that it wouldn't count as an end, but it still has that extra padding. Javelins that are single-ended often spin around in flight, as Damien from Northreach mentioned on the last item. Strike pommel first or with the shaft. Adding extra padding to the other end only makes them safer. It is a little bit of extra mass, but it's also extra padding, which is pretty significant for a javelin. The idea with making them like maybe double-ended instead of must be double-ended was because in general, when we make changes like this, we try to avoid making people's existing equipment illegal unless we find that like the current status quo is that it is unsafe by its current construction standard. Single-ended javelins, well, if we're considering voting to like return to only single-ended javelins, we're considering those to be safe. And if we can consider the double-ended javelins are equally as safe, we didn't really feel a need to remove the option to maintain that equipment.
Okay, thank you. Rivermore, you still have your hand up. Did I move on
I just lowered it. My apologies, Chair.
Thank you. So yeah, Viridian Outlands, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I mean, in the public polling that the rules reps put out, we have an 88% in favor. This is something that's been out since October. People have made and using them. I've been seeing quite a few of them. Like Heron mentioned, the spinning happens, so having more foam on that end is objectively safer. Overall, the change was requested change, and so far we haven't seen any fault on it. People seem to enjoy the new opportunity and building that it brings.
Thank you. Neverwinter, please.
I wanted to bring up Rivermore's concern about like identifying them on the field or confusion of identifying them. I guess I'm confused as to how it would be difficult to be able to separate the difference between one-ended versus double-ended. If you're going to be using just community javelins in general. But the other part too is, yeah, like how Heron was saying, if we're arguing that these ones are not safe and all it really is just adding more to one side that's already part of the construction instruction for how to make them, then how is the original one safe? But since we're okay with the original ones, and from my understanding is that actually we're not okay with the original ones, but sadly that's not what we are discussing, right? We're discussing if we can just add more. So I just think it was a really weird, I was confused on the how it makes a difference.
I I would happily respond to the concern from Neverwinter to
Okay.
clarify my statement with chair's permission.
No, please wait for me to get back to you. Tell DeGore, please.
Neverwinter actually has the question I was going to ask Rivermore as well, as where that identification confusion comes from and how that impacts the construction requirements for the weapon itself. So I would go ahead and just cede my spot here to Rivermore to answer that because I'm curious as to that answer.
Thank you. Rivermore, please.
Thank you, Chair. To answer the question in the concern about grabbing things on battlefield and hucking them in a pretty involved battle game, if we are unsure whether some of them are double-ended and some are not, my populace had felt that that is a confusion that could definitely happen. And I understand, like, and I agree that making things more safe would be the goal. Why not make double-ended the standard then? If we're going to have that conversation, why leave it that, hey, 10% of the jabs you're going to encounter on the field are not double-ended. Make sure you throw those the right way. And so, like, to us, my populace honestly felt, and I didn't know if the floor is ever open to motions, but to change may into must, which would ensure that, again, all javelins on the field do have safe and on bone sides. And if they do flip, so be it. But I don't like the idea of our populace around a battlefield in the heat of battle, picking up a jab, deciding which end is the safer end, and throwing it. I think that is a safety concern, and that explains why my populace was. Thank you for the option to clarify. I appreciate.
All right. Thank you for that clarification. I want to address something you said before moving on. The rules revision process really explicitly says that the COM is not allowed to modify the proposals being brought forward under vote. There are some procedural tricks that you can theoretically do to get around that, but I would give my personal recommendation that you not do them. But yeah, that's the situation with that. So that said, Nine Blades, please.
So, I absolutely agree that having confusion over, oh, is in the heat of battle, is this a single-ended javelin, is not great. However, if you are encouraging people to update their jabs to double-ended, and it is a step in the right direction. Um, as someone who has seen both double-ended and single-ended jabs in my kingdom, I think the double-ended javelin is a much safer option. And while I do believe it should be, must be double-ended, and that's something we can talk about in future, I don't think we should be voting this down and insisting that single-ended jabs, which I don't believe are safer, be the norm until another year goes by and we can change it to must.
Thank you. Hal DeGore, please.
With that for field identification, one, having a double-ended option javelins makes them safer if identification is an issue. On top of that, that concern that someone might not look at either end of a thrown weapon before throwing it, when a pommel only requires a very small amount of foam on one end, before the striking portion of a javelin is still 6 inches of strike legal. If a player cannot identify that difference, that seems more a concern on the end of the player properly identifying, as opposed to this option to make items weapons safer.
Thank you. Burning Lands, please.
Yeah, I would like to request to recognize Smiley to the floor to speak on this issue.
Thank you. Dusty Marshall, would you like to speak now?
Absolutely. Thank you, Phoebe. Knowing kind of the process of things going on, I believe that Heron and their team has done a well job to try to get as much information on these things as possible. So let me speak real quick, just as a foam smith, and I know there's more and others in here. The point that was made a second ago of what's made and needed to be for a strike legal surface for a javelin and how that construction goes, I don't think you're going to have as many complications as most people are thinking. I also want to let everybody know I don't think it's going to fly the way you think it's going to fly either. However, in the grand context of what we do in this game, our own equipment as we put it out in the field is something that we either allow people to use or don't allow them to use. We have those rights and we can use that. But I don't think this is such a big safety concern, more than we probably need to next year look at the context of how javelins and things like this in our rulebook are constructed and try to get better detailed construction for our game and safety parameters. But with the current builds as they are, if they have to meet the same standard on both ends, I think you're going to be dealing with a javelin that's going to be safe either way. Essentially, you're going to have a bunch of quarterstaffs on the field that people are going to be swinging no matter what. Um, and so as you're looking at the cores that we're having to use in this game, you're looking at the foam that needs to go around them. You're looking at the inches that need to go from the core of that and the caps that need to go on top of that. I think you're dealing with, my opinion is, let me be very clear on that. My opinion is I think you're dealing with a safer weapon because of the construction of what pommels minimum are, as opposed to what the stabbing surface and striking surface of what a javelin is supposed to be. And so I'm hoping everybody's taking that into account. I don't think this is as big of an issue as we may think it is, as opposed to we probably need to make sure next year we have some better parameters of how we need to construct those well. And I think we have great foam smiths in our game that can help us do that next year.
Right. Thank you. Northern Lights, please.
I was going to motion to go to a vote if folks are down for that. And also thank you, Smiley.
Seconded.
That was very good.
Seconded.
I was also going to motion for a vote.
All right. Well, we are going into vote then. So revote on item 2D8, javelins may be double-ended. Would everybody who would like to change their vote on this line item please raise their hand? Crystal Gross, please.
I'd like to change to yes, please.
Are there any other changes? Iron Mountains, please.
Iron Mountains would also like to change to yes.
Thank you. Golden Veil, please.
Golden Veil would also like to change to yes.
Thank you. Are there any other changes? Okay, well, this item was passing before and now it is passing even harder. So moving on to the next item in the sorted list, that would be 2H4 Apprentice Belt Favors update, which is currently failed by the same margin that the Javelin ones were passing. And Secretary, if you ever need a minute to like catch up on writing something, just let me know in the Facebook chat, please. But I think that you are fully up to date at this point. So Apprentice Belt Favors update. Does anyone motion for discussion and revote of this item? Northern Lights, please.
I would like to sell motion.
Okay. Any
Second.
second? Okay. So we are going into discussion and revote of Apprentice Belt Favors. Northern Lights, would you like to open discussion?
Yes, thank you. So I just want to speak briefly on the origins of this change proposal as it came through the process. So of course, at the beginning of this year, we changed Paladin and anti-Paladin sashes to require metallic gold and silver. That got some folks looking at the sections and what was required for apprentice favors. For those unaware, because it is a fairly obscure part of the rulebook, an apprentice favor is a favor trimmed in, gosh, I forget offhand if it's gold or silver, trimmed in one of those of that class's color. You hand that to your apprentice, and that's a reserved symbol. It's something that only an apprentice is meant to have. Yes, thank you, silver. So what we had realized in discussions of this item was that there was some confusion that was coming up with people who were using class symbols, knights who were using phoenixes to represent paladin or anti-paladin, and what it meant if they were to have one of those with a with silver trim on it versus having the bird itself trimmed in silver. That also relates to the Paragon Paladin and anti-Paladin symbols. So I just wanted to give the background behind why this proposal is here, is because without those being marked as reserved symbols, obviously would have to be a knight to wear the phoenix is in the first place, but it was unclear whether that was a symbol for a paragon versus a symbol for an apprentice versus not a reserved symbol at all.
Thank you. Rivermore, please.
I believe, thank you. I guess I have a point of clarification, Chair. This is coming out of a section that that is failing. My apologies. It was my understanding
that
that
is
the
correct.
section
It is coming out of.
we weren't reconsidering items, just the same if a whole section was passing. We weren't reconsidering individual items. Can I get a clarification on that, please?
So sorry, please repeat the question.
Apologies. It's not on the screen anymore, but this discussion is from a section that is failing overall. Class systems is currently at 68%. It was my understanding that we were not doing reconsideration of line items of sections that were failing in their entirety, just how we weren't doing reconsideration of failing items in sections that were passing in their entirety.
Okay, I understand the question now.
Okay.
So it's a two-pronged answer. The answer is one, what the original procedure that I showed you in a written document was. And that procedure was that we would revote both passing and failing line items from failed packages, but we would leave line items from passed packages alone.
Okay, so we're going to be reconsidering all of the failed items within this failed section, according to your rubric.
Sort of. So, so this is both per the original document and per what I'm doing right now, is that for all sub packages that failed, all of their line items, pass or fail, are eligible to be flipped. However, due to time constraints and levels of interest, we may not necessarily cover all of them, if that makes sense. You appear to be declining to comment on that.
You provided your answer, Chair, and thank you very much for your clarification.
Okay, awesome. Wetlands, please.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm going to preface this by saying that the wetlands voted yes on this change, but it's really kind of just a method for people to note certain things outside of an actual game setting. It's not something that we have as an ROP item that needs to have a clarification. I think it's nonsensical, personally.
Okay. I don't see any other raised hands, so it looks like we are moving into revote on this. All right, so everybody who would like to change their vote on item 2H4 apprentice belt favors, please raise your hand. All right, that looks like the answer is no one. So this item continues to fail. Moving on, next one on my list is item 2F2E, ice ball frequency for Druid. So we just swapped healer from fail to pass partially on the rationale that it was passing on the other classes. So I anticipate that nobody is going to want to discuss and revote this one. But if people do, please raise your hands now. Okay, cool. So moving past that, we get to item 2F3A, which is dispel magic frequency for healer. Does anyone want to motion for discussion and revote of the dispel magic frequency change for healer, which is currently passing? Does not look like it. Okay, I want to remind you that at any time you can motion to just leave this section and go to the next agenda item. So if we go through a bunch in a row that are just like no one cares, keep that in mind. Northern Lights, please.
I guess since we are at this point, we might as well check in. I would like to motion if people want to continue looking at things, that's totally fine. But I'd like to motion and just check and see if we should move on at this point.
Okay, Wetlands, please.
I was going to motion. I'll second that.
Okay, so we are taking a vote on the motion to move on from rules revision proposals. We will need to give the secretary a minute to prepare a new vote record.
Was Monk Armor discussed?
Yeah. Hang on a second. West March, what was that?
Sorry, I forgot to raise my hand. Was Monk Armor discussed? Because I know one Monarch had said
Monk
they wanted-
Armor has not been discussed, so you may wish to no vote this in order to ensure that we get back to Monk Armor if you care about that. However, hang on a second. Monk Armor is currently the parent package for Monk Armor is passing, so Monk Armor is passing, and you cannot no vote Monk Armor without first revoting Monk to no vote Monk.
Yeah, I realized that after I asked. That was my
Okay. All right. Secretary, it looks like you're ready. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, thank you. Dragonspine, please.
Chair, to clarify, this vote will stop us from looking at all of the rules that are in this document for possible discussion.
Yes, this will cut off discussion in revote of the rules revision procedure items. You can just like do an ad hoc motion later to say, no, it's really important that we go back to this. And that could theoretically pass and then we go back to it. It's not like an absolute 100% point of no return, but if you think that we have unfinished business here in the rules revision proposals, you should definitely vote no at this point. Okay, West March, please.
Sorry, I raised my hand again. Can we get a reading of the ones that are still failing overall so we know what we're still looking at?
Cool. Secretary, could you put up the big list? Thank you. So we swapped ice ball frequency, so that's passing now. Druid, the package failed, but all the line items passed, so it effectively passed. Barbarian passed, Monk passed, so as previously mentioned, the fact that a line item failed doesn't matter. We
To do a quick recap, if you'd like, siege weapons may fire javelins is failing. And then the class symbols for Paragon Paladin, Paragon Anti-Paladin, and Apprentice Favors are failing.
All right, if there's no other questions, we will proceed into voting on the motion to exit discussion and revotes of the rule revision proposals. So, Blackspire, how do you vote?
Yeah, let's move on.
Thank you. Burning Lands, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Celestial Kingdom,
Yes.
thank you. Crystal Groves,
Yes.
thank you. Desert Winds,
Yes.
thank you. Dragonspine,
No.
thank you. Emerald Hills,
Yes.
thank you. Golden Plains,
Yes.
thank you. I should have clarified, we're just looking for a simple majority here. Golden Vale,
Yes.
thank you. Iron Mountains,
Yes.
thank you. Neverwinter.
Yes.
Thank you. Nine Blades.
Yes.
Thank you. Northern Lights.
Yes.
Thank you. Northreach.
Yes.
Thank you. Polaris.
I vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you too. Rising Winds. The illustrious, noble, and august kingdom of the Rising Winds, please. Okay, skipping for now. Rivermore, please.
Yes, thank you.
Taldegor, please.
Yes.
Thank you. 13 Roads, please.
Motion to table until we find out what rule they're looking to discuss.
Right. I mean, I don't think that's a valid motion. Like, if this passes, then we're not discussing what they wanted to.
I was just wanting the information, but yes, then
You wanted to know what Dragonspine wanted to discuss?
yeah, like if it was
Okay, cool.
something simple, it might sway me, but that's
Okay, Dragonspine, could you answer that very quickly, please?
Yes, Dragonspine would like to discuss the symbols for paladin and anti-paladin vote to
Okay.
assure the.
Yeah.
But they're already in no vote, so Dragonspine will concede the floor if that's fine.
then yeah, I my vote change is yes.
Okay. Viridian Outlets, please.
Yes.
Westmarch, please.
Yes.
Wetlands, please.
Yes.
Winter's Edge, please.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so with 21 yeses, 1 noes, the motion to move on to the next item on the agenda passes. The next item on the agenda are the competing Dorun Avatar 11 proposals. So there's 2 proposals. I want to be super clear on which proposal is which. There is proposal 1, which is the proposal that was submitted by Golden Veil, and that I believe is by a sole author from the Kingdom of Golden Veil. They will have the opportunity to correct me if I'm incorrect on this, and which last I heard did not have the copyright assignment paperwork done with AI, although I'm sure that's not an obstacle to them doing it later. Item number 2 is the proposal submitted by Blackspire that was developed by a team composed of multiple members of the rules revision team, and which has already had the copyright assignment paperwork submitted. So that's what item 2 is. So before we get into this, I want to explain the procedure for this one, because there is a specific and unique procedure that we're going to use to resolve this issue of the 2 competing proposals. We are not moving on with 2 Doran avatars. There will only be 1 of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to vote on proposal 1, and then we're going to vote on proposal 2. And hopefully 0 or 1 of them passes, giving us a very simple outcome. However, if they both pass and they don't pass by the same margin, what I'm going to do is solicit unanimous consent to have all the votes on the proposal that got the less number of votes converted to no's, which hopefully people will see the common sense in and agree to. If for some reason that doesn't happen, then we would go, or if they somehow pass by the same margin, we will go into a cycle of revotes until the COM makes up its mind. All right, so now that I've explained the procedure, there's probably questions before we can start voting. So I'm going to start with Wetlands, please.
Yeah, something something I put in the chat. You know, if you're voting to table something or to strike or something, it needs to be done before votes are happening. Especially if we're following Robert's Rules of Order. That being said, I wasn't motioning for anything else. as far as discussion wise.
Thank you. All right, Rivermore, please.
Thank you, Chair. Question on the previous item. Will the secretary be releasing a detailed list of exactly what passed and exactly what failed regarding things that were either taken out or sections that have completely passed since we did do it piecemeal?
May I respond?
Sure.
Yes, as soon as the meeting is done, I will be releasing an updated record showing exactly what passed and failed. Currently, all of the votes are in a hidden tab, and it will be easy for me to just unhide them so you can see exactly the breakdown of who voted for who. I just didn't want to bloat the document currently while I'm trying to navigate to take active votes.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we were going to have a detailed one since there were things that were taken out of packages and stuff like that. I just wanted to make sure I could report accurately to my populace. Thank you.
Yeah, if you look at the list as I'm pulling it up, I'm screen sharing it, you can see every item is broken down already. So if I wanted to go look at a specific one, I would just tab over to it and you can see the breakdown of all the votes. They're just currently hidden now, so I can navigate the document faster.
Okay. Are there any other questions about the procedure? Because if there are not, we are going to go straight into voting on proposal one, which, to remind you, is the proposal from Golden Vale, I believe, by a solo author. Okay, let's get into it then. If Secretary would go to the sheet that I know is already prepared. Yep. Blackspire, how do you vote?
No.
Thank you. Burning Lands, please.
I apologize. I had a child needing assistance. What are we doing?
We are voting on the first of the two Doron Avatar proposals, the one from Golden Vale by the solo author.
Proposal number 1 is a no from Burning Lands.
Thank you. Celestial Kingdom, please.
Celestial Kingdom votes no.
Thank you. Crystal Groves, please.
No, please.
Thank you. Desert Winds, please.
No.
Thank you. Dragonspine, please.
Dragonspine votes no.
Thank you. Emerald Hills, please.
Emerald Hills votes no.
Thank you. Golden Plains, please.
Golden Plains votes no.
Thank you. Golden Vale, please.
Golden Vale votes yes.
Thank you. Iron Mountains, please.
Iron Mountains votes no.
Thank you. Neverwinter, please.
Neverwinter votes no.
Thank you. Nine Blades, please.
Nine Blades votes no.
Thank you. Northern Lights, please.
Northern Lights votes no.
Thank you. Northreach, please.
Northreach votes no.
Thank you. Polaris, please.
Polaris votes no.
Thank you. Rising Winds, please.
The Most Excellent Kingdom of the Rising Winds votes no.
Thank you. Rivermore, please.
Rivermore votes no. Thank you.
Taldegor, please.
Daldegor votes no.
Thank you. 13 Roads, please.
13 Roads votes no.
Thank you. Viridian Outlands, please.
Viridian Outlands votes no.
Thank you. Westmarch, please.
Westmarch votes no.
Thank you. Wetlands, please.
Wetlands votes no.
Thank you. Winter's Edge, please.
No.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move immediately into vote on proposal 2. So even if you want discussion and revote on this, you're going to wait until after we voted on the second proposal as well. So we're going straight into that. Wetlands.
Actually, I'd like to motion to table this one for more research.
Okay, by this one, wetlands, you mean both proposals, right?
No, sir. We've already voted down one, and I'm voting to table the second.
Okay.
Burning
Does
Lance will
anyone-
second that.
Okay, thank you. That was my question. Okay, yeah. So before we vote on proposal 2, we're gonna vote on tabling proposal 2. And if the vote to table passes, then this will get pushed off to the agenda of the next COM meeting. So, Northern Lights, in response to Wetlands' question in the chat, the next COM meeting, I believe, is actually Q4 of this year. Northern Lights, did you have a question?
Yeah, I guess I just want to double check that Chewy's intent here is to delay it until the next meeting rather than to make an opportunity for discussion now.
I'm pretty sure that's what he meant, but Wetlands, would you like to respond?
Yeah, I can answer that one. Yeah, that's exactly the intent behind this. Would give us more leeway to digest that proposal a little bit more. Still have a lot of people in my kingdom who hadn't read it, and for those who don't know, Wetlands has a very strong history with the door. That it's something that we've loved for many years, and we want to continue to love it. We just make sure that we're seeing this in the right phase and in the right direction.
Okay, Viridian outlines, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to check that if this gets delayed to the next meeting, it can still be play tested, right?
I don't really, RRO, would you care to field that question? It's not a chair question.
Yeah, so it's kind of in an awkward spot because the Doran Avatar is a official document of AmpGuard. We have signed over the rights to the Doran Avatar 11 to AmpGuard already. Monsters just exist in a very strange space where they're covered pretty much entirely by scenario rules. You can call most anything as a monster, so I don't see why somebody couldn't say, like, I'm going to play the monster from this document. The difference, I suppose, would be in whether or not it is available on like the AmpGuard website as like here is the official Doran avatar. Please download and try this. It might actually be a better question for I see Fiona has her hand raised. As far as like the paperwork side of things. The goal with us looking for the sponsored is to like to promote playtesting of it, but Fiona would have a better answer on like the logistics of that.
Okay, I will get to her in a minute. Crystal Gross, please.
The tabling procedure here. So would we be voting to table it explicitly to a future meeting that we're going to name, or are we just tabling it and then anyone can motion to take it from the table at any time as usual?
So if it's tabled, sorry, two-part answer. Answer part number 1, I am going to stop being the chair in about like 3 hours. So if I tell you like what XCOM is going to do like 3 months from now, what I say doesn't necessarily mean that much. But point 2 of that answer is my understanding of how this is supposed to work and how I would do it if I was still in charge at that point is that tabling it would put it on the agenda for the next meeting unless somebody did something to take it off that agenda. So hopefully that answered your question.
Mostly, yeah. So I'm asking if we table this right now and then we finish everything else real quick, and there's still time to talk about this. If I make a motion to take it from the table to put it back into consideration for this meeting, is that a consideration that would be part of our procedures? I know we don't use strict Robert's rules.
Yeah. So if like later in the meeting you're like, no, we have plenty of time. Let's talk about the door like right now. You can motion to pull it back in. And if it gets a second and gets a majority vote, we'll pull it back in. And also relevant to like your question of like If we table it now, does it automatically come back next meeting? I saw Dusty like nodding his head in agreement with what I was saying. So it sounds like, yes, if you table it, it will come back next meeting unless something happens. Okay, Rivermore, please.
Thank you, Chair. It was my understanding that with a yes vote on the door today, when we pick one of them, then it would move to official playtesting. It is currently in unofficial playtesting, was my understanding. And so in a vote, yes, it would move to official playtesting, also affecting the next 3 item votes on the agenda, which are then removed if we vote yes on a door today. And then that playtesting phase that the other kingdom, and I apologize, I did not write down which the other kingdom had, wetlands, I believe, had concerns, is then we would begin the official play testing of the door. And then, of course, we would have to adopt and everything like that. And it becomes part of the rules revision process. So I guess I'm a little confused as to why we would table something that is not really going into play testing officially unless we choose to vote for it. It would just remain unofficial.
Thank you. That is an excellent segue into the executive director.
Oh, I am so sorry.
What?
I did want to mention that Iron Mountain has had their hand raised, and I think they're first in the queue, at least on my screen.
Yeah, just go ahead and go first.
Okay. Just wanted to speak to the fact that the door in Athar exists entirely outside of the rules revision process. It has always been considered a supplement to the Amtgard rules of play. The proposals that are written here do speak to play testing for a year if if voted in at this meeting. So they would not, if tabled, until such time as voted on and adopted for playtesting, these would not be considered Amtgard documents by any stretch of the imagination. I can absolutely and will dot that I, cross that T with the board in the meeting that happens after this one and also with legal, but that's my understanding of how that would go.
Thank you. Sorry, I was messing something up in chat. Iron Mountains, please.
I removed my hand. The executive director covered most of what I was going to speak to.
Thank you. Northern Lights, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to address something that Rivermore had mentioned. So whether or not we adopt a new door in Avatar at this meeting, it's not part of the rules of play. It is a document owned by Amtgard International, and it is something that would be modifiable by the Circle of Monarchs, but it's not covered by the same rules revision process because it's not part of the rules of play. The intention, I know, with this proposal is to make updates approximately quarterly throughout the year and work towards proposing like a final version of it at the next July meeting. So it does have its own process. It's included in that document, but it would be separate from the revision process. I just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you. Rivermore, please.
My apologies. I thought the agenda had mentioned specific playtesting. Was I confused on that, or was I just want to make sure again, like I understand what my populace asked me to vote on.
This is essentially Heron's proposal. Can you answer that for her?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yes. Sorry, the agenda specifically mentioned playtesting of the door begins with the yes vote. I guess is that different than if we move this forward?
Yeah, so basically, as I mentioned, like anybody can just kind of play a monster if they want to, if they have permission from the folks at their field. What we're hoping for with this proposal is to move into like a more official, like sponsored play testing of sorts. The hope being that we could get this linked on ampguard.com/documents, have having like basically the vote of confidence from the Circle of Monarchs would encourage people to try and use this instead of the Doran Avatar X where applicable. Obviously, as with all monsters, people don't have to use the door. They can use their own. But we're looking for this sort of backing to really get as much data as we can to try and make the best monster book that we can and really make the best proposal that we can over the next year.
Thank you. West March, please.
West March motions to end discussion on the table vote and take the vote.
Okay, are there any seconds? Please speak up.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Moving directly into the motion to table proposal 2 of the Doran Avatar. Blackspire, how do you vote?
No.
Thank you. Burning Lands, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Celestial Kingdoms, please.
Celestial Kingdoms votes no.
Thank you. Crystal Groves, please.
Crystal Growth votes yes.
Thank you. Desert Winds, please.
Votes no.
Thank you. Dragonspine, please.
Dragonspine votes yes.
Thank you. Emerald Hills, please.
Emerald Hills votes no.
Thank you. Golden Plains, please.
Golden Plains votes no.
Thank you. Golden Vale, please.
Golden Vale votes no.
Thank you. Iron Mountains, please.
Iron Mountains votes no.
Thank you. Neverwinter, please.
Neverwinter votes no.
Thank you. Nine Blades, please.
Votes no.
Thank you. Northern Lights, please.
Northern Lights votes no.
Thank you. Northreach, please.
Northreach votes no.
Thank you. Polaris, please.
Polaris votes no.
Thank you. Rising Winds, please.
Rising Winds votes no.
Thank you. Crystal Groves, I'll address you at the end of the vote. Rivermore, please.
Rivermore votes no. Thank you.
Taldegor, please.
Taldor votes no to table.
Thank you. 13 Roads, please.
13 Roads votes no.
Thank you. Viridian Outlands, please.
Sorry, Viridian Outlands votes no.
Thank you. West March, please.
West March votes no.
Thank you. Wetlands, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Winter's Edge, please.
No.
Thank you. Crystal Groves, do you want to flip your vote here?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you. So the motion to table the vote on that is 3 yes, 20 no. So that fails. So we're going to move immediately into actually voting on proposal 2 for the Doran Avatar. Unless there are any questions or further motions. Nope. Okay, so Blackspire, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Burning Lands, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Celestial Kingdom, please.
Celestial Kingdom votes yes.
Thank you. Crystal Groves, please.
Crystal Growth votes yes.
Thank you. Desert Winds, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Dragonspine, please.
Dragonspine votes yes.
Thank you. Emerald Hills, please.
Emerald Hills votes yes.
Thank you. Golden Plains, please.
Golden Plains votes yes. Thank you.
Golden Vale, please.
Golden Vale votes yes.
Thank you. Iron Mountains, please.
Iron Mountains votes yes.
Thank you. Neverwinter, please.
Neverwinter will vote yes.
Thank you. Nine Blades, please.
Emphatically yes.
Thank you. Northern Lights, please.
We vote yes.
Thank you. Northreach, please.
Northreach votes yes.
Thank you. Polaris, please.
Polaris votes yes.
Thank you. Rising Winds, please.
The wonderful Kingdom of the Rising Wind votes absolute yes, please.
Thank you. Rivermore, please.
Enthusiastic yes from Rivermore. Thank you.
Taldegor, please.
Taldegar votes yes.
Thank you. 13 Rhodes, please.
13 Rhodes votes yes.
Thank you. Viridian Outlands, please.
Viridian Outlands votes yes.
Thank you. West March, please.
West March votes yes.
Thank you. Wetlands, please.
Wetlands votes no.
Thank you. Winter's Edge, please.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So we have 22 yeses and 1 no. Proposal number 2 for the Doron Athitar version 11 passes. And since proposal 1 did not pass, we have an unambiguous outcome that the new Doron Avatar is proposal 2. So that is and as stated, the copyright assignment paperwork has already been filled out for that. So the team that worked on that and AI will be working together to publish a document in the future. I won't have anything to do with that, but it is on its way now. All right. So next item, we are ready to move on to the next item on the agenda, item 3. Does Burning Lands or someone else want to give the floor to Dusty Marshall again?
Yes.
Thank you. Please, sir.
Thank you. Just correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to go with parliamentary procedures here. The last vote was only to table, correct?
Incorrect. There was a motion to table, which failed, followed by the original vote, which passed.
10-4. Thank you.
All right. So we are on item 3. Ensure that the rule revision process must be used for rules revisions. Secretary, is there any way you could get the full text of the proposal on screen for this one? Okay, cool. She's going to it. Winter's Edge, please.
Motion to discuss.
Okay, no discussion for the vote. If you have like a very specific question about what we're voting on, you may ask it. Okay. So this proposal amends the Circle Monarchs bylaws to state that, if you could scroll up a little, Vidalia, amends the Circle Monarchs bylaws to change from amending the rules with a 75% vote of all represented kingdoms to amending the rules according to the rules revision process, which basically says that the Circle of Monarchs, the part of the COM bylaws that authorizes the Circle of Monarchs to change the rules of play will be changed to limit that to only working via the method of the rules revision process. This proposal also includes some wording changes in the rules of play to state, as you can see a little bit underneath, that these specific sections of the rules of play do not fall under the rules revision process, and that changes to this policy require an approval of the COM by 75%. So the net effect is that everything that does not have this exception wired into the proposal would not be directly touchable by the COM. Everything that does have this specific exception listed would still be touchable by the COM by the same vote margin as before. And wetlands, I agree. The section of the COM bylaws that explicitly gives the COM permission to edit the rules of play would be removed from the COM bylaws. So if this proposal passes, the COM's ability to edit the rule book is constrained to those specifically outlined sections and to rules revision proposals, and also that authority is taken out of the COM bylaws and put in the rules themselves. So I am expecting that there are multiple questions about this. So Crystal Gross, please.
Thank you. First up, I wanted to mention that nothing in this proposal, as far as I know, alters anyone's bylaws. This is purely a proposal to change text that's in the ROP. And that is because the only thing said about modifying the rules of play in our bylaws in section 5.4A or 5.4 and then 5.4B is that with the appropriate votes stipulated in the award standardization agreement and the ANCARD rules of play, we may modify those two sections of that document. What I see this vote or this proposal is doing is clarifying that the appropriate votes as specified in the ROP is 75% of the COM for the procedural stuff that's in the book called the ROP and rules revision process for all the rules that are in the ROP. That's my, as someone who helped build this, that was my view on this.
Thank you. And my deepest apologies to you and the rest of the Circle of Monarchs for confusing them on this manner. You're correct. I misspoke in an important manner. This change does not change the Circle of Monarchs bylaws. Okay, we are going to go directly into a vote on this then. We will have the opportunity for people to motion for discussion and revote on it though. Rivermore, please.
Oh, my apologies. May I get clarification on we are currently voting to accept this, or we're just voting to accept and then we're please tell me what I'm voting on.
You're voting on the actual proposal itself.
And we're going to discuss it afterwards?
That is the in-person meeting procedures for the COM as outlined in the bylaws, is you vote on the proposal and then people can motion for discussion and revote.
Oh, okay. Because I was really confused about a sentence that you have at the end of this proposal, which has never been clarified for me. The vote conditions 75% majority as this proposal changes the rules of play. If this proposal passes, items 4, 5, and 6 will not be voted on.
Yeah, that's what it says. I don't understand what your question is.
Okay, I was just my populace also did not really understand this change and without discussion, but I mean, I guess we can continue on. Ignore
Yes.
my question.
Yeah, please vote no on it and then motion for discussion and revote. All right, Winter's Edge?
Just so I understand, we vote on this and then we can motion to discuss at a later time. But if this passes, the next three sections do not get voted on. Do those have to then also be motioned to be discussed and voted on again?
Okay, let me unpack that because there's multiple questions to be answered in that. So the first thing is that we are going to vote on this, and then whether that vote passes or fails, either way, people can motion for discussion and revote of this proposal. Then, after we have gone through that discussion and revote, and I've seen it happen, potentially another round of discussion and revote, and we've arrived at a final result on this proposal. If after we've gotten to that final result, the proposal still has passed, then 4, 5, and 6 go away. They go away completely because this proposal makes them unfounded to be acceptable as proposals to be voted on. And there's nothing you can do to get them back other than getting a discussion in revote on this proposal and making it fail. Also, after we vote on this, the motion for discussion and revote, like you do that like right away. You can also do it later in the meeting, but I don't recommend that. The way it's supposed to work is we vote, and then if somebody is like, I really think that I can and should get this vote changed, they say motion for discussion and revote. Okay, Iron Mountains, please.
As a point of clarification for individuals that feel the following 3 items specifically should be voted on, can we motion to table, bring those other items forward, and then return to this?
No, because those items would be invalid if this passed. The agenda, the agenda is in a specific order on these 4 items for this like very specific reason. Whether this passes or fails determines whether or not the COM agrees that those other 3 are things that you can vote on. Rivermore, please.
Apologies, my hand accidentally went up.
Okay, so are we ready now with the understanding that you can immediately motion for discussion after we're done with this vote? Sounds like we are. All right, Black Spire, how do you vote? On
Yes.
item, okay. Burning Lands, please.
No.
Celestial Kingdoms, please.
Celestial Kingdoms votes no.
Thank you. Crystal Groves, please.
Crystal Groves votes yes.
Thank you. Desert Winds, please.
Desert Winds votes yes.
Thank you. Dragonspine, please.
Dragonspine votes no.
Thank you. Emerald Hills, please.
Emerald Hills votes no.
Thank you. Golden Plains, please.
Golden Plains votes no. Thank you.
Golden Vale, please.
Golden Vale votes yes.
Thank you. Iron Mountains, please.
Iron Mountains votes yes.
Thank you. Neverwinter, please.
Neverwinter votes yes.
Thank you. Nine Blades, please.
Nine Blades votes yes.
Thank you. Northern Lights, please.
And Northern Lights votes yes.
Thank you. Northreach, please.
Northreach votes no.
Thank you. Polaris, please.
Polaris votes yes.
Thank you. Rising Winds, please.
The humble kingdom of the Rising Winds votes no.
Thank you. Rivermore, please.
Rivermore abstains.
Thank you. Tal'Degor, please.
Tal'Degor abstains.
Thank you. 13 Roads, please.
13 Roads votes no.
Thank you. Viridian Outlands, please.
Viridian Outlands votes yes.
Thank you. West March, please.
West March votes yes.
Thank you. Wetlands, please.
Wetlands votes no.
Thank you. Winter's Edge, please.
No.
Thank you. So with a result, Iron Mountains, do you have something that's relevant to the vote result, or were you?
Negative. I'm waiting for after the vote
Got
result.
it. Thank you. So the vote result was 11 yes, 10 no. So this fails. Iron Mountains, are you motioning for discussion and revote?
Before that, I'd actually see if the chair would entertain a motion to recess for 10 minutes or so.
Second.
Okay, cool. Everybody back here at 2:05, okay? Okay, cool. We are recessing until 2:05. Crystal Groves, did you have something you wanted to say though?
Nope. Just for after.
Sorry, once again I have forgotten that time zones exist. 8 minutes from now. Sorry. 12 minutes from now. That's what I meant. 12 minutes from now, 5 after whatever the next hour is. I am going to get some water.
Thanks, James.
Yeah, I really don't see a route to this passing. There's a lot of stuff that happened in chat that I didn't see. Is there anything that people think needs my attention?
Just so people know, there are some mics on, so if you think you're having a private conversation, you're not.
Yeah, I just got in trouble for that. My bad. Whoops.
Yeah, no, just FYI, because we love you all and respect you all. Just if you're having a private conversation, make sure you're muted.
Nope, Mike's unmuted now forever. Mainly only doing this so I can make James's job a little bit harder. That's it. That's all I'm here for.
Yeah, I hope that, Dusty, I hope that you go back to doing this vote, then discussion and revote thing, because Gavin wasn't consistent about it, and I'm trying to be a hard ass about it. And then if you go back to not doing it, it's going to be like whiplash for them.
No, we're definitely keeping the same thing. We've done this for so long, for so many years that way. There's no reason for us to undo that. I think it also allows us more of an ability for all those in the circle to feel like they have a voice in what's going on. Even after you vote, there might still be discussion that could change your mind later. That's honestly how we got to the unanimous. We had to have 100% of all kingdoms agree to change any of the ladder awards or anything like that. It took us voting and then discussing and then voting again just to get it down to 75%. That was 7 years ago. I think it matters, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the discussion and revote isn't the part that people try to get rid of. People try to get rid of the vote first part.
Yeah, and I mean, in some organizations, yeah, I understand that you have discussion, then you have vote, right? I know in one of the larger organizations I'm in, we just had a annual meeting that had 20,000 people for a business meeting, and we had to run Robert's rules, and that's how they do it. It's you have discussion, you have vote, and then you can discuss again if it's under certain pretense and context.
And that's
Other
contrary to what we do, Dusty. So
Yeah.
it's been contrary to what we've been doing for decades.
Yeah. So I think the ability to be able to vote, because I think you can do, it's one of those simple things that you can watch a vote take place. And if there's only one vote that's different than everybody else's, you can honestly ask the question, do we really need to reconsider this and have a discussion? Let's go ahead and just move on. Otherwise, it's like, oh, this missed out by one vote. I would like to move for us to discuss this one more time. All right, now let's revote. Did anything change? Nope. All right, cool. Let's move on. I think that's okay. I think it covers the bases, creates accountability, and allows people to have their voices heard.
I mean, the way Randall described it to me is that the idea is that before Calm started doing it that way, people would like talk for a half hour about a proposal and then they vote, and then everyone voted yes. And it was like, why did you need to have a half hour discussion? You already agreed.
Yeah, well, and I think like that's saying there in the discussion, I remember us doing that as well. Said, yeah, you're right on that one too. And that may be something I just might have to sit, I mean, unless you guys vote me no confidence, and that's okay too. But
Yeah, that's
if
happening.
if I sit, as the XCOM chair, that might be something I just present to our entire com and go, okay, I want to make sure we have a vote and discussion. I want that to be available. And if it needs to be in a situation to where if something fails, then we can move for discussion and revote. I'm okay with that. I like the idea that we can have a vote and discussion and revote in the opposite side too, because I think it gives both sides an opportunity. I'm okay either way. My job is to just moderate our meetings and make sure everybody's voices are heard and votes are cast properly and people are as informed as possible. So, we can make that happen, but I don't think I'm going to change it.
Mm-hmm.
3 hours of discussion over the inch pound measurement. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's
was-
beautiful.
That was rough. Yep. I remember that.
My important question about voting through you as the XCOM chair is, am I still going to be able to buy shields from you, or are you going to be too busy for that?
I'll say this here because we're in recess. So I'll say this as in this context. Currently, right now, I'm about 7 months behind on orders. So everything is behind and everything's zeroed out just so I can try to catch up. I don't feel it's right for me to try to make new product for new customers or new orders when I have so many people that are still waiting on stuff from me. So it may be a little bit, but yeah, sure, that could happen. The second part of that is if I'm sitting in this position and we're in meetings like this, talking about my business and things like that probably won't happen. I want to try to do everything I can to make sure there's not a conflict of interest when it comes to some of the things that we're looking at. I don't want it to be perceived that way either.
100%. If we weren't in recess, I wouldn't have asked that question.
Totally fair. Totally fair.
No, this is when you just try and put it in an order for 20 swords. And he's 7 months behind. No, I want 20 double-ended javelins, actually.
No, my wife just said we quit and we're selling everything and are going to live in a van down by the river.
I think that happens to like
Oh,
every
yeah.
M-card artisan who gets a national level reputation.
It's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Now the real question is how do I keep James involved in all of this process? That's the real question.
Name them as a assistant.
No,
Make him an assistant.
You'll be fine. Vidalia is very hardworking. I
Just-
think you're going to be just fine.
Name him as the stand-in mustache for you.
There we go. Well, I will let you guys know this. One of my goals is I'm pretty, I like how the parliamentary procedures go, especially concerning Robert's rules. And Milk obviously really loves those, as he made sure he had a Robert's Rules of Order in hand last year. But I'll probably, because I can't find this as I can't, and I can't find this as I can, so I'm going to use this gray area. I'll probably appoint 3 people to serve as a parliamentarian board as we go through our meetings. That they'll probably just be present for those. They'll help us track things online just to make sure we're not breaking parliamentary procedure and kind of keep us moving forward. That long story short, I don't screw something up and I never have to walk into a room again and be asked, how do we remove the XCOM chair parliamentarian wise? So that's my goal in life.
Yeah,
Hey, Robert's rules is pretty simple and easy. It's pretty spelled out, and it can be manipulated. So you got to be careful with them.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of stuff that if you don't know and you're running Robert's rules, it can become confusing and it can be abused very easily and quickly. So if you're just kind of going by it, there's a lot of stuff that can happen. My goal is to have us as organized as possible and not quarrel over things that don't need to be quarreled over. Just kind of keep us moving forward.
You mean rules written by lawyers can be rules lawyered?
What? No.
I'm pretty sure I'm the reason for the story about last year in that question. I think I'm the one that asked you what the process was.
You're probably right. Like I said, all I know is there was so many people just clamoring. The noise
people
level.
who were on site were not happy. I remember that very clearly.
I was like, God, what's happening? I don't even know what I'm walking into. So, it was interesting. I'll put it that way. But at the end of the day, I think all of our kingdoms still came together. We still got stuff done. We were still able to vote on the things we needed to. At the end of it, at least as an organization, we could say, hey, we may get sidetracked or may have chaos for a moment, but at least we're still good at bringing ourselves back in to do the jobs we need to do.
I think the biggest problem was we effectively had 2 different meetings going on where each meeting couldn't talk to the other half.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely. 100%. And I'm hoping that from this perspective, with the way GOK went this year, I'm hoping that for us as Burning Lands, that we can start that conversation of what the future looks like for us without having to have this meeting face to face at GOK every year. That we can move to this format, and I think we'll be good at it. Man, we're in recess. You don't have to raise your hand.
We're not in recess. We are at 2:05. We are going to session.
Darn it. All right. I'm going to silence myself. Have
Okay.
fun.
Secretary, are you here with us?
Yes, I am. I'm ready.
Awesome, sweet. We are going immediately back. Oh no, wait. We did the vote. Now we're doing, does anybody motion for discussion and revote? And I see multiple hands raised.
I motion for discussion and revote.
Seconded.
Okay. Iron Mountains raised their hand first, so would they like to open discussion?
Well, I was going to motion to end recess, and then you did that, and then I was going to motion to start discussion, and that's been covered.
Okay. Crystal Groves, please.
So, I do want everyone to feel comfortable they know what they're voting for on this. So I'm glad we have a chance to discuss it. I want to again just mention the impetus, sort of the reasoning behind what is in that proposal in terms of why there are so many things called out in specific sections from the ROP. The purpose was to that. I think that there's some different opinions on what the rules revision procedure is and what it covers. And it occurred to, during certain processes on the Discord server, it occurred that there were these different opinions about, all right, what can the COM change that doesn't use the RRP, and what can't we change without the RRP? What is the RRP for, and what is not should not be touched by the RRP? Like, can we change the youth policy? Which of course that's already excluded. But like, are there fractions of what's called the ROP as a document that are not the rules of the game? That are like the kingdom boundaries, which again we don't want to touch. And the purpose of these various sections being called out was to make sure everything in there that's not supposed to be RRP revisable and should be revisable by an alternative mode has that listed explicitly on the page. This part is not part of the RRP. This is revised by blah. That way, there's no question on any given page in the rules of play of how you revise that page. That's my piece, and I'm happy to take questions about what I just said. But
thank you. Northern Lights, please.
Hey there. I just wanted to share the main reason that I support this proposal is throughout this last year of playtesting and in past cycles of playtesting, one of the consistent things that we hear is that people are worried about changes happening too quickly, even though they are happening at the schedule of the revision process, except for, of course, the extra bonus one from the table package last October. For the most part, we change things once a year, and then in playtest years, we change them slightly throughout. What I am hoping that we can prevent by passing this proposal is random changes to the rules being proposed throughout the year without being looked at by the folks that each kingdom has appointed to handle that process. I just noticed from the 3 proposals that come after this one, they definitely show signs of not being considered for the entire year. I think that there are good motivations behind them, but for example, just removing a chapter outright, without considering all of the other references to that chapter throughout the book, is something that we would find throughout a year of looking at it. I think that we really shouldn't enable, I know people feel like it's enabled now, but I really feel like we shouldn't encourage kingdoms to be changing parts of the rules outside of that schedule, because people already feel that it is happening too quickly and that the rulebook is unstable. And we just really want to avoid that if we can.
Thank you. Rising Winds, please.
Thank you. In general, I favor the intent and wisdom behind this item. This is a good idea, but I feel like there is an unintended consequence here that I want to point out. It theoretically could never happen. It wouldn't happen. It doesn't happen until it does. But there may come a time where a change is needed in a quick manner, a fast manner, or a expedited manner, a change, not a clarification, where the COM needs to get together and vote and make a change in whatever way. If this proposal as is goes into effect, any change would have to go through the rules revision process and thus may have to wait a year. Now, clarifications notwithstanding, this is my point is a change. So that's why ultimately, without something to go along with that or handle that particular process or that particular need, I have to vote no on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Celestial Kingdom, please.
I understand that this is an attempt to clarify the process by which we go about updating the document, but I feel like it completely failed to hit the target of clarifying. There was a lot of confusion in the discussion about it, and it completely failed to actually clarify what it was trying to clarify, which results in not actually improving anything. Is the main reason I'm voting no. It kind of feels like it's just a change to make change under the guise of attempting to clarify and missing that target entirely.
Thank you. Wetlands, you do still have your hand up.
Yes, sir, I do. Yeah, I mean, I believe that is correct in that, you know, I see what they're attempting to do, and I caution anybody to put language in that removes anything from either a rules revision process or a COM member. The good news is that we as a group now are quarterly voting on things. So the concern that something's going to get put through in a quick manner isn't really valid anymore because we're not just doing it a year at a time now. We're doing our votes and discussions every single quarter. And, you know, the good thing is we moved to Discord. And so our conversations are happening a lot more fluidly, a lot more candidly. And I think that it's a better set. So I believe that, you know, if, you know, I think this document probably should have been fleshed out a little better because it reads, you know, a little vaguely, and it provided a lot of confusion to most of my populist members and even a lot of my monarchy.
Okay, Winter's Edge, please.
Specific to that, moving towards Discord is one of the major reasons why the next proposals were put through. Is currently the subcommittee that was appointed, the RRO, exists not on the AmpGuard Discord. And that's one of the movements is let's put everybody on the AmpGuard Discord. We voted on it multiple quarters. Everybody was for it, or most folks. And then with this, it blocks that. So it allows the RRO in future runs to use whichever platform that will have to continue to be updated, that there is no check or balance to it. And with this, they would have full reign to keep it that way. We would not be able to vote. The COM doesn't get to dictate to a subcommittee what we would like to see or what we'd want to see. They just get full run of it.
Thank you. So I understand that there's a very important distinction here between the team, the subcommittee doing what you want because they chose to and doing what you want because you told them to and they had to. But the rules revision team, I believe, is currently in the process of moving to the official AI Discord for what that is worth. And with that said, I would like to call on Crystal Rose.
Thank you. So a couple of responses. First, the AI's bylaws itself. If something needs to be changed in an emergency, like if something needs to be changed really quick now, real fast, that we can't touch through the rules because of the rules revision process limitations, the AI BOD can just do that. Actually, they own AmpGuard. They can just do it. They wouldn't, and they won't unless they have to, but they can. Second, yeah, you're right. If we lock ourselves out of the rules process and the rules revision organizer decides to go crazy, that is actually not really a problem because they're a subcommittee. Like you said, they serve at the will of the COM. We can just depose them immediately in an emergency meeting and put somebody else in place with a simple majority vote, and then be like, do what we want you to do, or we'll depose you to. I mean, they're a subcommittee of ours. The same thing that as the COM being a subcommittee of the AI BOD. That I definitely want to assure you is not a change for the sake of making a change. It's a change that was spurred specifically by the proposals to cut whole chunks of the ROP out without changing the rest of the ROP, how it refers to those chapters and stuff like that in a way that would make the document really hard to read. So it was a change that was directly motivated by another proposed change. And the edits that I guess make it confusing because we go through and enumerate in each section how you can change that section were specific to make sure we didn't get into a situation where it's not, where the COM can't change a thing that the COM should be able to change outside of the rules revision process. The same way award standardization is carved out of that process as well. I'd be happy to answer a question if it's something I understand. To answer any questions about what's confusing about that proposal, I think it very specifically tells you on what pages we want to insert what text, and I think the text is pretty clear. Yeah. Chewy, we already did advocate in favor of our rules reps. That's literally what the RRO and rules revision process is it's us saying as the COM that we don't put proposals in without running it through this process. So I don't know. I think this is just a vote to confirm that the process is the process and we should use the process. That's the way I look at it. And I yield the floor.
Thank you. So as a procedural thing, I would like to request that if you have a question to specifically direct at someone else, like for example, in this instance, to the proposal author, please try to be really explicit about that for me, and then I can get back to them quicker, like let them jump the line to answer you. Thank you. Iron Mountains, please.
So first off, I'm hearing from Winter's Edge as well as others that they're concerned about the RRO going off the rails and taking the process and kind of doing what they want with it. Aside from the ability to depose that has been mentioned, the COM is also the controlling authority and the voting authority for that process itself. So like, for example, this time next year, there should be a proposal for a new rules revision process. If we don't like what they're doing, then we can change that process. On top of that, I do believe that this proposal obviously was written in a relatively short period of time frame, so I do think that it could go back for a bit of polish beforehand, but I do not fault Blackspire for its current condition. I know it was written in a rush in response to other proposals.
Thank you, Iron Mountains. Well, before I get to Iron Mountains, I want to clarify that you said Blackspire. I believe Crystal Groves submitted this. Someone else correct me if I'm wrong. That said, Northern Lights, please.
Two things. First, I do want to confirm that the Rules Revision Committee is moving over to the MCARD International Discord. As discussed after the last meeting, we're timing it with the new revision cycle. That way we don't have to move all of our current active discussion threads, but we will be making that change in the next couple weeks. Actually, the next week. But beyond that, I just wanted to remind folks that last year when we had the rules change package fail at the Q3 meeting, the Circle of Monarchs, after a very lengthy discussion, and I don't know if future XCOM chairs or whoever's running these meetings would allow the same, but they did vote to they decided that they can vote to suspend parts of things in the case of an emergency situation like that. Obviously, like the COM can change its own bylaws, it can change the rules according to this process. The AIBOD has powers to do this. There are ways to make sure that in an emergency we can make these changes happen. If, for example, like we had a dire need to like change the exact wording of Fireball or whatever, that is something that I feel like could still happen with this process. Pretty much, I feel like the purpose of this is to make sure that we're not getting rules change proposals happening at every quarterly meeting.
Thank you. Winter's Edge, please.
Yes, just a point to clarify, as you said, our current RRO, Heron, has mentioned over Q1 and Q2 that they'd be moving over to the Discord. And as we just heard from her, they are planning on it. The issue would be then a week after that could choose a different platform, and continuing on, they could choose to do as they wish. Not specifically Heron, but future RROs.
Okay, thank you. Dragonspine, please.
Dragonspine motions to vote.
Any
Bernie
seconds?
Land seconds.
All right, we are going into a revote on item 3. Ensure that the rules revision process must be used for rules revisions. So revote procedure, Dragonspine, is your hand raised because you want to change your vote? No. Okay.
No.
Everybody who wants to change their vote, please raise your hand. Okay, Taldegor, please.
Valdegor would like to change its vote to yes.
Thank you. Northreach, please.
Northreach would also like to change its vote to yes.
Thank you. Neverwinter, please.
Neverwinter would like to change its vote to no.
Thank you. Polaris, please.
I'm feeling very conflicted, so I'm just going to stay with my same vote. Thank you.
Okay, Taldegor, you still have your hand up. All right, Neverwinter.
My apologies.
Rivermore, please.
Rivermore will change their vote to yes.
Thank you. Nine Blades, do you wish to change your vote?
Nine Blades changes to abstain.
Thank you. Wow, okay. Oh, this was a rule revision process vote. Yeah. So this gets us to 12 yes, 10 no's, 1 abstain, which is a failing vote because this is a change to the rule book. So we are going to move on to here, from here to item 4, unless something funny happens. Okay. So item 4, moving quests section from the rulebook to the door on Avatar. This is a much more straightforward proposal that pretty much just does what it says. So I think we can get straight into the vote. All right, Blacksfire, how do you wish to vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Burning Lands, please.
No.
Thank you. Celestial Kingdom, please.
Celestial Kingdom votes no.
Thank you. Crystal Groves, please.
Crystal Groves votes no.
Thank you. Desert Winds, please.
Desert Winds votes yes.
Thank you. Dragonspine, please.
Dragonspine votes no.
Thank you. Emerald Hills, please.
Emerald Hills votes no.
Thank you. Golden Plains, please.
Golden Plains votes yes. Thank you.
Golden Vale, please.
Goldenville votes no.
Thank you. Iron Mountains, please.
Iron Mountains votes no.
Thank you. Neverwinter, please.
After many discussions with the populace of my kingdom, I'm going to have to vote no on this one.
Thank you. Nine Blades, please.
Nine Blades votes no.
Thank you. Northern Lights, please.
Northern Lights votes no.
Thank you. Polaris, please.
Polaris votes no.
Thank you. Rising Winds, please.
Rising Winds votes no.
Rivermore, please.
At request of populace, Rivermore votes yes.
Thank you. Taldegor, please.
Valdegor abstains.
Thank you. 13 Roads, please.
Double muted. 13 Roads votes no.
Thank you. Viridian Outlands, please.
Viridian Outland. Sorry. Viridian Outlands votes no.
Thank you. West March, please.
West March votes no.
Thank you. Wetlands, please.
Wetlands votes no.
Thank you. Winter's Edge, please.
Yes.
Thank you. So we have 5 yeses and 17 noes, 1 abstain. So this proposal fails. Northreach, did you have something to say relative to the vote, or are you motioning for discussion, revote, or something?
No, I was missed in the call up there. Northreach votes no.
Thank you. Sorry about that. All right. So vote stands as previously announced. This proposal fails. Does anyone want to motion for discussion and revote? It does not look like it. So we move on to item 5. Very, very similar proposal to move magic items from the rulebook to the door on Avatar. Very self-explanatory. I believe we can get straight into the vote on this as well. Looks like we can. Blackspire, how do you wish to vote?
Blackspire votes no.
Thank you. Burning Lands, please.
No.
Thank you. Celestial Kingdoms, please.
Celestial Kingdom votes no.
Thank you. Crystal Groves, please.
Crystal Groves votes no.
Thank you. Desert Winds, please.
Desert Winds votes yes.
Thank you. Dragonspine, please.
Dragonspine votes no.
Thank you. Emerald Hills, please.
Emerald Hills votes no.
Thank you. Golden Plains, please.
Golden Plains, yes. Votes yes. Thank you.
Golden Vale, please.
Golden Vale votes no.
Thank you. Iron Mountains, please.
Iron Mountains votes no.
Thank you. Neverwinter, please.
In alignment with my populace, I vote no.
Thank you. Nine Blades, please.
Nine Blades votes no.
Thank you. Northern Lights, please.
Northern Lights votes no.
Thank you. Northreach, please.
Northreach votes no.
Thank you. Polaris, please.
Polaris votes no.
Thank you. Rising Winds, please.
Rising Winds votes no.
Thank you. Rivermore, please.
With the other one failing, Rivermore votes no.
Thank you. Tal Dagor, please.
The magnanimous Kingdom of Taldagor votes no.
Thank you. 13 Roads, please.
13 Roads votes no. Thank you.
Viridian Outlands, please.
Viridian Outlands votes no.
Thank you. West March, please.
West March votes no.
Thank you. Wetlands, please.
Wetlands votes no.
Thank you. Winter's Edge, please.
Yes.
Thank you. So we have 3 yeses, 20 nos. So this proposal fails. Does anyone want to motion for discussion and revote? Okay, good. So moving on to item 6. Can you scroll up? Because I forgot what this one is, Vidalia. Update the rules of role play to reflect movement to the Emperor International Discord server. Okay, I remember this one now. Can we go to the wording really quick though? Because what you get is this specific wording. So before it says to coordinate the rules revision process described below in section 3 and ensure the appropriate timeframes are met, the rules revision organizer will designate an online rules revision discussion forum for this purpose and ensure that all Kingdom's rules representatives have access. And this proposal changes that to the RRO and all Kingdom rules representatives will have access to a forum designated for rules revision to facilitate online discussion. So if you pass this proposal, the rules of play will be updated with this specific wording that is in the proposal. Viridian Outlands, do you have a question or point of order?
We can't discuss about this yet, right? We have to vote and then discuss.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then. I'll save my thing for
Yeah.
after this, but
Iron Mountains.
Point of clarification, can a motion to amend be submitted?
Yes, because this is not part of the rules revision process. Do you want to take another look at that text and see if you have a motion that you want to submit? I think it is worthwhile to take a minute for that if you think you're going to come up with something quick.
Very, very minor. Let me go ahead and copy and make the necessary edits, and I'll put it in the chat here shortly.
All right. While they are doing that, Neverwinter, what did you have?
I don't know if this is just, I just wanted clarification on this because the item says specifically Discord, but the text says of their choice, forum designated. So why are we specifying Discord if they could just change it?
Okay, hang on a second. It's because that's kind of 2 separate questions.
I'm sorry.
the question one is like, if we make the text say that the rules that the RRO can choose whatever forum they want, then how does that force them to use Discord? And the answer to that is that the current text says the RRO can choose, and the revised text would change that to no longer have the wording that says the RRO can choose. The second question here, that I think was kind of implied in what you were saying is, what does this have to do with Discord? Since Discord is not anywhere in the text of either the prior or after versions of the text. And the answer to that is, that's just the title of the proposal. Like, the proposal has a title and the proposal has text, and it is what it is, man. Wetlands, please.
I couldn't figure out how to do the dang mute button. My apologies. Yeah, I mean, I think that that was kind of my big question is, I wish the proposal would have just had, language in there that the Discord server is the choice moving forward for the RRO, for the Rules Rep Committee. So that's me personally.
Okay, well, we might get to that point because there's potentially a motion to revise the wording. Iron Mountains, please.
Speaking of that motion to amend, I have put the new text. The only change is the addition that is both bolded and italicized in chat. Currently, the proposal does not specify who is designating that forum. I think rather than designating a specific forum in the proposal, we leave it so it is designated by AIBOD as a little bit of future proofing. So if down the road AI does migrate to elsewhere, we don't have to worry about then going back and changing this later.
Okay, if anyone wants to second Iron Mountain's motion to amend the proposal.
Second.
Westmark
yeah,
seconds.
Awesome. Great. There you go. So we are going to vote on the motion to amend the proposal before we vote on the proposal. But before we do that, Secretary, what's up?
Just to note, I think the reason that it doesn't list a specific forum like Discord or Facebook or whatever is because that's listed in the bylaws. The only reason I know that is because I edited the bylaws to say Discord, so it might reflect that.
Which bylaws?
I think it's in. Hold on, let me pull that up.
Okay, while she's doing that, West March has a hand up.
Westmark's motions to accept the amend and move on instead of voting twice.
Yeah, that's not how that works. Um,
Point
okay.
of order.
Yeah, Rising Winds, what's up?
You can ask for unanimous consent to accept the amendment.
It
Yeah,
could be
that's a
done
deep-
friendly
that-
amendment by the proposer.
What?
You could be done as would Winter's Edge accept a friendly amendment, which would
Oh, yeah,
require
yeah.
body.
Thank you. Those are both good suggestions. Would Winter's Edge like to accept the amendment?
Can I ask a point of clarification real quick?
Yeah, what's up?
So Iron Mountain's amendment says designated by AIBOD. I believe it was the AICOM that is the one that designated that we moved to the Discord. It was not the board of directors. So that needs to say by the AI. I mean, it could say both AIBOD/AICOM, but we need to make sure that the correct entity is the one that designated where we move to.
May I go ahead and respond?
Yeah.
I think as the representative from the wetlands has pointed out, we can just put AI or put AIBOD and AICOM, either one. Iron Mountains is willing to accept that, and I will change my text here.
So you're changing the text from AIBOD to AI? Question mark.
That is correct.
Thank you. Winter's Edge, do you want to accept this amendment to your proposal?
I'm waiting for Vidalia. I guess she's pulling up the bylaws now.
Oh, yeah, that's the COM bylaws. Wait. So those are
This is the version that passed. I just pulled this one up because it clearly highlights the changes.
that is not germane to the discussion because those are COM proposals, which are the
Yeah.
I mean the rules revision process proposals don't really flow through that format. They technically come in by the executive committee dumping a subcommittee's business into the agenda, which is a separate thing. So yeah, what's just been posted in the chat is the amendment that Iron Mountains is currently proposing. Before we move forward, does Winter's Edge want to accept or reject this amendment?
Reviewing it, confirming by AI, which both clarifies the COM and BOD, I say yes to that proposal, that amendment.
Okay, cool. So Winter's Edge has accepted Iron Mountain's amendment. Secretary, did you have more to add on this matter?
No, sorry. My hand's not supposed to be raised.
Thank you. Celestial Kingdoms, please.
Since we had seconded this proposal, I was going to indicate my approval of that modification as well.
Okay, cool. I am letting the proposal offer just like accept. Oh, wait, you were the second on it. Yeah, I get what you're saying then. Thank you. I probably should have done that, but that's squared away. Iron Mountains, please.
Does that mean we return to previous question on the agenda item itself?
I'm sorry, what?
Are we now going back to vote on the agenda item as a whole?
Yeah, if there are no further hand raises, we are going to vote on the agenda item with the modification that you proposed and that Winter's Edge and CK accepted.
Burning Lands would like to request recognition of Smiley.
Okay, Smiley, would you like to speak?
Yeah, James, I just need a clarification. Whose job will it be to interpret what the meaning is of that amendment and its implications? Will that be the XCOM chairs?
It's kind of the XCOM as a whole. The way I always saw it is that the secretary is the one who records the results of votes. So the results of votes are what the secretary writes down, if that makes sense.
Sure, let me be a little more specific. If the question is asked, what does it mean? The act of when it says access to a forum designated by AI, what specifically does that mean and how is that enacted? Does the XCOM chair get to decide what the interpretation there is? I have a very specific reason why I'm asking the question.
No, I understand your question. I think it is not a bad question. And I believe that the answer is that no, that does not ultimately clearly designate what entity makes that decision. And that if the COM and AOBOD for some reason were to disagree on it, then there wouldn't necessarily be a mechanism for entangling that.
Thank you.
Untangling that.
Yep, that's the crux of my question.
But people can vote on it anyway, acting in faith that both bodies are going to be on the same page.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to make sure that that was evident, clear, and that there was at least an understanding, especially if I'm going to have to do this next. So,
okay.
Thank you, Jim.
Rivermore, please.
Thank you. I wanted to draw attention to a comment made by Senator Milk of the Rising Winds in the chat. Please enumerate AmpGuard International so as to not be dictated by artificial intelligence, which I thought was an excellent.
Okay. I might do that, but I'm really big on being quick, so no promises. Celestial Kingdom, please.
Smiley, would your concern over who is making the decision be alleviated if we specifically called out the Discord as was the clear intent behind the proposal, rather than future-proofing with that forum provided by AI?
May I be recognized by the chair to answer that
Yeah,
question?
yeah, go.
Thanks, Jim. Sorry, I know it's formalities. I apologize. Thad, honestly, it could be that, or that it's AI BOD or AICOM. My biggest concern is if at some point in time AICOM and AI BOD are on two different sides of the argument. So then AI BOD believes that we need to be, I don't know, in some new format besides Discord, and AICOM believes that we need to stay in Discord. Then that disagreement's there. There is no appointment of where to go. That's my concern. So even if it says Discord, yep, that'll solve the problem. If it says AICOM, that solves the problem. If it says ABD, that solves the problem. If it says AI, that still solves the problem. It just needs to be an understanding of how we're going to have to work that to manage that type of scenario if it does pop up in the future.
Thank you. Iron Mountains, please.
As a reminder as well, there's supposed to be a agenda item being worked on for next year's meeting where the rules revision process is being rewritten. In relation to this, though not directly so.
Okay. All right, if there's no further motions or business, we're going to vote on the proposal after the amendment by Iron Mountains to insert just AI. So that's where we're at. Are we ready to begin voting? Okay, Blackspire, how do you wish to vote?
Blackspire votes yes.
Thank you. Burning Lands, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Celestial Kingdom, please.
Celestial Kingdoms votes yes.
Thank you. Crystal Groves, please.
CG votes yes.
Thank you. Desert Winds, please.
Desert Winds votes yes.
Thank you. Dragonspine, please.
Dragonspine votes yes.
Thank you. Emerald Hills, please.
Emerald Hills votes yes.
Thank you. Golden Plains, please.
Golden Plains votes yes. Thank you.
Golden Vale, please.
Golden Vale votes yes.
Thank you. Iron Mountains, please.
Iron Mountains votes yes.
Thank you. Neverwinter, please.
Neverwinter votes yes.
Thank you. Nine Blades, please.
Yes, thank you.
Northern Lights, please.
Northern Lights votes yes.
Thank you. Northreach, please.
Northreach votes yes.
Thank you. Polaris, please.
Polaris votes yes.
Thank you. Rising Winds, please.
The Exalted Kingdom of the Rising Winds votes yes.
Thank you. Rivermore, please.
One that always has to follow good rising winds. Rivermore votes yes.
Thank you. Taldagore, please.
Daldagore votes yes.
Thank you. 13 Roads, please.
13 Roads votes yes. Thank you.
Viridian Outlands, please.
Viridian Outlands votes yes.
West March, please.
West March votes yes.
Thank you. Wetlands, please.
I'm sorry, vote yes.
Thank you. Winter's Edge, please.
Yes.
Thank you. The proposal passes unanimously.
Woo!
The play will be updated accordingly. Let's see what our next agenda item is. Renewal of the licensing fee agreement. Okay, this was kind of a late addition to the agenda because I noticed that we need to do it like around the time that I was like actually sitting down to make the document, which reminds me of something that I need to tell Dusty later. But basically, the licensing agreement that COM signed with AIBOD to basically pay them $500 a year to license the trademark lasts 3 years and then expires and has to be, and then a new agreement has to be voted. We negotiated this new agreement for the next 3 years, which is basically the exact same agreement we just had for the last 3 years. So the effect of voting for this is that the kingdoms will continue to pay Amtgard International $500 a year for the next 3 years. I am expecting this to pass unanimously, so I'm going to solicit unanimous consent on this. Basically, if I don't see any raised hands, I am going to ask for all those in agreement to say aye. And I don't see any raised hands. All those in agreement with renewing the licensing fee agreement for another 3 years, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, please say nay.
Moo.
That was a moo, not a nay. So that is. Please change the moo to a yes.
Might as well.
Okay, thank you. Might as well counts as a yes. So that's 23 yeses. Licensing fee agreement is renewed with unanimous agreement. Moving on to the next item. So the next item is a non-voting item. It is time devoted to Amcard International to bring you business that they have for you as the COM. The announced thing on the agenda here was the executive director's report, which you all had the opportunity to read, so it doesn't necessarily need to be presented, but this is a time for you to ask any questions about it that you might have, or for the executive director to speak on any specific topics within it that she thinks might benefit from your time and attention at this point. So I am just going to pause for a second and maybe give people some time to skim it and refresh their memory and see if there are any raised hands. Wetlands, please.
I kind of want to do this on a public scale, but Jen Palmer, you were amazing. You've done a fantastic job for the number of times you've been the executive director for us, and I want to say thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Iron Mountains, please.
Would it be possible to request that the assistant director for technical resources kind of not during this meeting, but at a future meeting, address the COM with kind of an update as to where we're at on some of the current projects going on with the challenges that our technical world is facing right now?
Absolutely. I will certainly speak with Mr. Walker and get that together. As a kind of preview of that, I did want to mention, if you're following along with the org help Facebook page at all, a Facebook group, there are a number of backend improvements. We noticed that the AWS payment that we have for server space has been going up exponentially, and we were trying to figure out why. It seems like the website is being scraped for a lot of data. AI bots are crawling all over it. So we are taking some preventative steps to hopefully lower that bill for us. And also reduce outages is the other hope as well, because the bandwidth will not be so strained. But I will get some more details, as I do not speak the tech very well, and I will include that in our Q4 report.
Thank you. I would like to give Ken Walker a shout out. He was very helpful in preparing for this meeting, by the way. West March, please.
A member of my populace asked if there was a time frame on when the org chart will be uploaded to amcard.com.
I can actually do that this evening.
Thank you.
Northern Lights, please.
Hey, I just wanted to express my excitement and enthusiasm for all of the polling that that you folks look to be doing in the near future. I think there's some really cool ideas in here, and obviously not something to hash out in this meeting. But if there are folks with the various Amcard International teams who we can get in touch with about doing collaborating on efforts to help improve the rules revision process over the next couple of years, I'd really love to connect with them. So something that maybe to coordinate another time.
Absolutely. And as a general statement, I look forward to working with our future XCOM and making sure that all of the resources that I have available in the assistant directors team, which are some extraordinarily talented people, are also available to the COM. I do not like to hoard talent. I like to share it if I can. So very happy to get those discussions going.
Taldegor, please.
I was just curious, as this section on the agenda is time allotted, not a voting item, I was just curious how much time is allotted for this section as My Kingdom's End Reign is actively ongoing.
So we are currently way ahead of schedule because we were very pessimistic in our budgeting for the rules revision part. So from this point going forward in the meeting, I was not really going to police people's time usage.
Okay, thank you.
If there's nothing else, just take a brief moment to announce that we are partnering with a YouTube channel in order to make a massive spike in the algorithm. Essentially, we're going to try and trick it into putting AmpGuard on everybody's For Your pages. There will be details coming out about that very, very soon. But if anybody was following along on the Discord, I am referring to the individual from West March who has put together some promotional videos that we will all try and watch all on the same day in order to get the algorithm to blossom for us.
Right. Thank you. Celestial Kingdom, please.
Are we going to be seeing this entire document up on ampguard.com? Because in addition to the org structure needing updated, it looks like there's a lot of information in this document that should probably be available to the general public.
Absolutely. If we'd like to start uploading these, I've been providing them quarterly to the COM. Certainly, you're available to share it with your populace, but I can also upload it to ampguard.com if you think that would be helpful.
I think a central place like that, visible to the entire public, like everything in this document seems like it could potentially be of interest to the population of the game overall.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Iron Mountains, please.
In general, I agree with uploading this. However, I think before we do it, we probably need somebody to go through and carefully scrub to ensure there is not anything we don't want uploaded in the content beforehand.
All right. If there's no further business regarding the executive director's report, Dusty Marshall wanted some time to present to you an update on the past year's progress of AIOBOD's Code of Conduct Review Task Force. Smiley, are you ready to give your talk on that?
Yes, I can do that. And so for those who have been serving on that committee with me, I know you haven't heard from me in a while. I've been working on the document with the information that's been there. Fortunately, life is life. And so if I'm being honest, I wasn't able to get all the research completely together until probably 8 o'clock this morning. So hang tight with me and I'll share some of that information with you. I do want you guys to all understand that one of my biggest concerns and passions is how protective we are of our players, our people, and our children that play the game. Many of you got to hear last year, I am one of those individuals that has been abused in some way inside of this game by players of this game. And at that time, as a teenager, I was shrugged to the side and pushed off and told, that I was making up stories. So I want to do everything I can to make sure that's not happening. But at the same time, I also make sure that everybody has a fair chance and a fair right to make sure they're able to defend themselves too. So we've had a lot of complaints of how the COC is implemented, how things are there, and what some of those complications are. So hang tight. I graduated from a New Mexico high school, so we're lucky I can read. We're going to do the best we can. I can't see you because I'm reading off of my screen. Don't worry about it. You can see me. Largely what we understand about the COC is that within the AmpGuard rules of play, it's what governs how we look at misconduct, harassment, violence, theft, so on and so forth. We have multiple options throughout the COC to make sure that we have abilities for our Kingdom Monarchs, our local park monarchs, to be able to ban somebody and remove them from play or from our organization as a whole. We have one that does not propagate, and we have the others that are allowed to propagate. Each monarch has the ability to make sure within inside of their kingdom if they want to recognize those or if they don't. But those really aren't the biggest complaints. The biggest complaints are is when somebody might try to move their records to avoid being banned, or whenever a ban might be given that seems to be unjust, or it hasn't actually been one that looks at the overall scope of what truly has happened for the individuals. So by default, we understand that your Kingdom Monarch, your Kingdom Prime Minister, and your Kingdom GMR can ban, and that is the same on the local level. When we look at all those things, the question that is constantly asked is how do we understand that people are giving proper transparency and we're not having inconsistent standards? Well, the long and short of it from all of my research and everything else that we've looked at is we don't. There isn't any hard line. There isn't anything that is there to make sure implementation is the same across the board. We just don't have that. Does that mean that we can't? No, but for the task force itself, that wasn't our job. The job was simply to see how it's implemented, what some of the strengths and weaknesses there are in, and if there's any recommendations that we could possibly give to you as assertable monarchs to change anything, or if you should start looking at trying to change or update the COC. In that sphere, one of the greatest things that we have had is that we've had numerous individuals under what is usually given as legal advice to keep things private, to protect the victims as much as possible. So we have a lot of players that are banned that have no idea what they were banned for, and there was no sharing of what it was, nor did they have the ability to defend themselves when it came to that. We believe that is a glaring and very huge problem that we need to address and figure out how we can address that to the best of our abilities as kingdoms to make sure victims are still protected. Because in a situation where somebody is banned and they have no way to defend themselves or give a proper scope of what has happened, we might find ourselves banning individuals that truly didn't need to be banned. And we had more of an issue of miscommunication or a simple, we didn't like how somebody was talking to us. We have some of these as evidence in other places and even kingdoms that have had to be investigated and some, at least one, put on probation considering a ban at one point in time. Sorry, Thad, we still love you guys. So so in that great scope, we know that we still have some problems. Currently, we've had numerous issues that we have found of players being ones to say, I have no other recourse of actions. Often, most kingdoms have their boards that are set up to give reviews, and they have the governance and the ability, according to their bylaws, to go ahead and lift or overturn bans. However, within the rules of play, only the Monarch, Prime Minister, and Guildmaster Reeves has that ability to do so. So even if a board were to lift a ban, that monarchy team can just immediately reinstitute it. Boards can also ban or remove players, and they can also do it not with under the COC. Monarchy teams can also do the same thing, and it doesn't have to be under the COC. You can suspend players from your kingdom or your group or your field without using COC.
Okay.
However, those are issues that we're looking at to try to figure out how to make our boards work effectively, how to make the COM work effectively, and how we can find to get rid of perceived bias and an even application of the COC across the board. So with some of those examples that we have, most of you have heard about examples that have come out of the Emerald Hills, out of the Celestial Kingdom, and as far as even some small things throughout the years that have come out of West March. Those seem to be the ones that have been talked about the most that we found people whenever I was interviewing, talking, or just doing generalized Google searches, and even looking through some of the Reddit threads. So with all these things, we understand that people will always claim there's unfair bans. The question is do we have a mechanism to make sure that there's a proper review process that those people can still be heard if they think that they have not been represented fairly? We do have the Ombudsman program, but the Ombudsman isn't there to actually try to overturn bans, research anybody's bans, but mainly there to make sure communication's held well, mediation is going well, and that both sides are able to talk to each other. So what are some of the things that we have, that I thought and we have thought that you could possibly do? Well, I think we need some better record keeping, because even if somebody's banned and it's not within their kingdom, we don't necessarily don't have that in the org, but there still should be a significant point to where we can look at something and say, this person's from the Burning Lands, but they're banned in the Golden Plains. We don't have any of those things. We need to make sure that individuals who are being banned have at least some understanding of why they're being banned and at least have an opportunity to defend themselves. Yes, I do understand that we are a right to associate organization. And we have that across the board in general. And for Canada, I'm fuzzy on the laws that are over there and a lot of those things. So a lot of this may not fully apply directly to the Canadian kingdoms or the kingdoms that have Canadian parks in them. So I apologize if I don't have proper things in implementations that can affect Canada. But I think we can research that and do better on it. So in conclusion, I believe that the code of conduct is enforced through a complex system of local monarchs, boards, and an agreement between our kingdoms to honor each other's bans. with that it's such a multi-layered approach that we have that it gives us great inconsistencies and numerous perceived injustices. For example, there's a large variable of how appeal rights can be done throughout kingdoms. We don't have one just type of appeal. We don't have just one way to appeal, and we don't have one system of appeals. So even if bans can be lifted, sometimes they're lifted quietly or they are not lifted at all because there's no proper appeal process depending on where the bans have come out of. So long story short, looking at all these things, my great opinion here is, guys, we have a problem with our COC. We have a good thing with the COC because it does still protect players like myself who was abused a long time ago. But we also have glaring issues that we don't find ourselves in true consistency, just like we do with our ladder rewards. So the recommendation here is this very simple ask. If all of our kingdoms can do a couple of things, we believe, and I believe mainly, that if our kingdoms can come together in the COM and we actually find a way that the COM doesn't have turnover every 6 months, but our senators or representatives that are appointed to the COM is what needs to be done rather than just our monarchs. I know that sounds weird because we're a circle of monarchs, but if we can have a consistency of individuals staying on this committee for at least one full year or longer, we build greater consistency of how we can move forward to do a lot of things, not just looking at our COC. The second part is we honestly need some type of centralized way that there's an appeals process that can happen, whether that means we all collectively vote as kingdoms to make sure in every single one of our corporas, as those who are associated with Vanguard International, has a very specific and exact same appeals process within their corporas. Again, I don't know about Canada, if that's doable or not doable. There are variables there I don't understand yet. But if we had something along those lines or with inside of our own rule book that forces us to make sure that that process is the same across the board, we might find ourselves more consistent and have less preconceived injustices whenever we try to enact a ban to make sure that our people and ourselves are protected because we need to protect them. So long story short, that's essentially where we're at. We have some glaring problems that I think we need to address. We can't keep going the way we're going, or we're going to have some bigger problems in the future. And yeah, we probably need to get legal involved to make sure we're doing it right too. Long and short, I think we do it together. We just have to collectively decide as kingdoms and representatives of our kingdoms that we actually can do something like this across the board and support it rather than saying we all have to have such great autonomy here. We're going to do it the way we want it in our own backyard. Otherwise, we'll have the same problems we have now. That's your report. That's what I got. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. We already know that you're on the ballot for XCOM chair. This is a task force that was appointed by AIBOD. Do you intend on maintaining your position as the chair of this task force if you get into that, or are you looking at appointing someone else to take what you have discovered and then moving forward with it?
No.
Should the vote happen?
So I appointed the COC task force myself when I was president of AIBOD. And the idea of that was it would exist for 1 year. And lots of stuff happened, things fell off, and we just wasn't able to get all the information that I have now. So I asked last year at our crazy, hectic, wonderful meeting if I could have 1 more year to try to compile as much as I can to present to you this. This is a report that also needs to be given to AIBOD, which functionally most of them are here. And so I feel I've done both the AICOM and AIBOD. This wraps up the COC task force. Unless Lisa wants to appoint another one or COM wants to direct me if I become our XCOM chair to do another one to try to figure out something else or better things. But this should end the COC task force in its entirety after this report. This is just suggestions to go, here's where we're at. We should be looking at some of these things. Here's a couple ideas. And hopefully we can pick this up as a COM and as a board and go, yeah, how can we do it better?
Thank you. Celestial Kingdoms, please.
In your research into the various ways we handle these appeal processes, sounds like you say we need to have a consistent appeals process across the board. Did you run into any that you think are a workable model that you would like the rest of us to adopt?
Really, right now I haven't, and that's mainly because each one of our kingdoms is its own NPO, and so we have a whole bunch of independent nonprofit organizations that are licensees for AmpGuard in general. So that also involves NDAs, that involves certain policies and procedures. So there hasn't been anything I've seen directly. I can give some advice of what I've done in other organizations or what I experienced on larger scales, mainly in a church concept, denominational concept, because that's my career. That's what I do professionally. There are some things there, and that's like creating offenders lists for your organization as a whole to be able to check on players. That's a separate entity or a separate committee that is allowed to have kind of some final say, but will also protect the information that's given to them. Otherwise, there'll be legal ramifications that would come with it. So there's multiple things, but for us in general and how our organization is, I don't have a solid answer to that. At least not without having legal counsel kind of advise, here's a good idea, do this and don't do this. And then again, I'm just not familiar enough with Canadian law to understand what we can legally do when it comes to things like this, dealing with people's information.
Is JP in this meeting or is he still our legal counsel?
He is still AI AmpGuard International's counsel. I don't think he's in this meeting though.
Okay.
Are there any other questions or business for Smiley on this topic of the COC task force?
I will point out to the chat for Crystal Groves, the comment there of a game-wide Kingdom BOD NDA, at least for per corporate country. That is something I think we can at least look into and explore. So, but those are my suggestions. I hope you guys understand my passion about this. I want us to protect. I want us to be able to protect our players, but at the same time, I want to make sure people have a voice on both sides.
All right. Thank you, Smiley. I believe that would wrap up discussion on that topic, though. This seems to be the case. So we thank you again, and they'll be hearing more from you pretty soon on something else. But we're moving on to the next item in the agenda, which is the appointment of the rule revision organizer. And before we get into any other business related to this, I already know based on prior discussion that Rivermore has a motion that they want to make relevant to this vote. So now would be a good time for them to do it.
Oh, thank you, Chair. Rivermore noticed that the opening for basically solicitation of candidates for this particular position was never publicly noticed or provided to any kingdoms ahead of time. And we actually didn't notice this until about 3 days ago. So we had wanted to bring a motion forward to the group today. I'm so sorry, Chewy, do I need to, I don't want to overstep.
What could you be a little bit more brief about that context, and I'll elaborate on what you're saying, but could you just
Okay.
give me a question?
Yeah, our motion would basically be to open up nominations formally for people to submit resumes, and for this to be voted on at a later date by the Circle of Monarchs, either in a month's time or whatever time frame this group selects, and that the current rules rep officer would remain in that position until the election.
So you're motioning to table this vote.
My apologies. Again, you guys have like some different rules that are a little bit off. Like I would have this particular body specifically dictate what it wants to see happen, not just a table. And this body has the right to decide we're going to do this in this time frame and delegate as is. And I would welcome any friendly amendments to this concept if there
Okay.
are senators. Thank you.
So before we move on, I want to clarify something. The lack of decent advertising of this opening and solicitation of applicants that should have been equivalent to the solicitation of applications that was given for the AOBD positions is my fault specifically. So I overlooked the fact that this was an opening. The rules revision procedure does say that we do need that this appointment vote is supposed to happen at this meeting. And I did not notice that until I was writing the agenda, like basically early this month, like at around the agenda release time. And that is my fault. That is not the current RRO's fault. That is not really the fault of anyone else here except me. Just want to make sure everyone's clear on that. That said, I believe Wetlands has some things they want to say about Rivermore's proposal.
Yeah, I mean, basically the option is be a point of procedure. Since we hadn't followed procedure, it's not necessarily a question of, we forgot something great, so we bring it up as a point of procedure to ensure that we were following what we should have followed. And then the motion would be to table this to include things, or a table to amend. But since it's a vote, then that's where we kind of get into the weeds of we're trying to do a confirmation vote for the individual amendment, which is for Heron's appointment to RO. So I guess that would be the biggest argument and detractor for it. So I mean, I would put forth a motion to or a point of procedure. If it wasn't followed, can we move it through? But I mean, and the other item is that we can go through the vote, but we can also do a thing like a vote to amend, or a vote to rescind the vote as well. So that way we have options available for that. So there's a couple different avenues that we can do in order to remove this proposal from the amendment, or this
Okay.
proposal from the agenda.
So I do need to clarify something based on what you said. The rules revision procedure does require the appointment of the RRO to be voted at this time. The rules revision procedure, the COM bylaws, basically none of that requires the position to have been advertised properly prior to this time. I should have done that, like as a common sense, just like duh thing, but that's not a procedural thing. Like there's nothing in any of the documents that says that I had to.
No, I understand that. Yeah, no,
Okay.
I get that piece. But again, so my motion is to rescind this proposal from the agenda.
Okay, no, well, so here's the thing. You know what? Let me see what Smiley has to say, and then we'll come back to your ideas.
Thank you for recognizing me. So Chewy is correct that you could move to have it rescinded, and you'd have to have a second. However, you can do a couple of things here, and I think it would be wise for just a minute that one of the things that you can do is ask for a poll of the entire COM itself, understanding that there was no advertisement for the RRO. And if they believe that there needs to be other candidates that can be presented, to table this means you would also have to have some type of motion to suspend your bylaws only concerning this item for this purpose, and you would have to set a specific time and a specific meeting to handle it. You cannot just leave it open-ended. Otherwise, once the meeting ends, it ends. So you would have to do multiple things to get there. You could vote to rescind it, and I don't think that's what you need to do, but I think you can pull the COM if they would want to move forward to have other candidates. We can table this by suspending our bylaws on this item alone. That is the procedural way you would want to do that by Robert's Rules of Order and the simplicities of what you have. Now, again, for everybody else to understand, talking as a parliamentarian, this is solely to the discretion of the XCOM chair. He gets to make the decision if this stays or how he moves forward. That's where you're sitting. So it does sit in James' lap. But for James and everybody else, those are just kind of the multiple options if you wanted to move in a different direction. That's it. I'm not telling you to do one way or the other, because James is correct. There isn't anything that specifies it has to be advertised or requesting those things. So I'll leave it at that.
So there's no basis for saying that this item should be removed because there was insufficient procedure. this item is procedurally correct. It's just some of us don't like it. So regarding what like Dusty said about like the niceties of how we have to go about it if we want to table it, I do think that I understand how to word that, and that if we do still want to do that, I can put forward basically some language for Rivermore to use in their motion if they would like that. So with that said, Crystal Groves, what do you have to say on this?
The ROP wants us to appoint, I think is the language, rules revision organizer in odd years. Can we just reappoint Aaron and then also have the applications just stay open generally for whenever, if Aaron wants to step down, or if everybody decides they want to replace her, like we can always remove and install a new one if we want to, right?
So first of all, what we were currently about to do was vote on reappointing Heron. So people who just want to reappoint Heron can get their way very easily by just going forward with the agenda as it stands. The other thing is, can you appoint Heron now and then vote to remove her later because you changed your mind? And the answer to that is A, I don't know off the top of my head, so it would be irresponsible for me to answer. And B, I will not be chair at that point. So my answer isn't really an answer for the person who would be in charge at the point you would be doing that business. Hopefully that was clear. Okay, Rivermore, please.
It was my understanding that the appointment process was that the term had been completed and that the door should have been open for anybody to be able to apply for consideration for said appointment that was supposed to be happening at this meeting. But those calls for opening never happened. Hence Rivermore's objection as to why we wouldn't just reappoint the same person who's been in that position. And our concern being, without it being announced, whether someone from Celestial Kingdom, someone from Rising Winds would have wanted to apply for this particular position, since it should have been open to everybody. That is our objection. I would maybe ask that my motion be amended to suspend our bylaws, and the request being that we basically delay this decision for 1 month to allow that process to go down as intended, as it should have gone down.
Okay, yeah, and I think we can do that. But I think people are going to want to discuss procedure a little bit before we get on with it. Celestial Kingdoms, please.
My main concern is I would like to make sure that the rules rep position is filled. If there was a question of whether or not things were advertised sufficiently, do we have other candidates that we would like to bring forth now to add to run against Harry?
Okay, but so I want to clarify that I am insistent that the rules revision organizer position does remain filled. So what Rivermore is about to do, I'm going to want them to include the provision that Heron remains interim RRO until that vote. So yeah, and I think that addresses your concerns there.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it was a matter of someone missed applying because they didn't see it. Do we have someone in mind that you want us to consider? And maybe we just add them to the potential ballot now.
So we can do that. However, if the weight of people's desire is to push it off a month and then deal with the candidates then, it may not be a wise use of time, if that makes sense. So with that said, West March, you have your hand up.
My question is there another candidate aside from Heron? Barring that it wasn't announced, I don't care. If there's not another candidate, it's a waste of time to come back to it late.
All right.
And
Sorry, you were continue.
And even if there is another candidate, is there enough of a vote that they are gonna pass in Heron's place?
Okay, thank you. So before we move on, I want to address your what you said to remind you that the last time that we voted for Heron as interim RRO to replace Manamna, there actually were two other candidates. So I do believe that if there was no option to move this vote forward in time, and it was just now or never, you get what you vote for now, people would start putting out names. I'm pretty sure that would happen. So with that said, Nine Blades, please.
So, I guess my question is, what would happen if we failed to appoint a rules revision off organizer at this time? Would the COM take over that duty? Like, can we just say no one has been appointed at this time and revisit it in 1 month or 3 months or however long? You know, if this vote failed, then we wouldn't have one anyway. So what happens in that case?
That has a very clear-cut answer, which is I'm not letting you leave here without an RRO. So if you want to do that, you first have to depose me and get Smiley in here and then talk him into allowing it.
I'm not doing that either. Let me just
Okay.
be very clear. We're going to be leaving this meeting with an RRO, one way or the other. I understand the situation that we're sitting in, and if I become XCOM chair, that's what'll happen. And if I have to basically just recess this meeting into an infinity where we all sit here till 1 o'clock in the morning, we'll do it. So grab your phones, text people if we need to, but we're not leaving without an RRO. I think me and James are on the same page on this.
Thank you. Iron Mountains, please.
I was going to bring up an issue that Smiley put in chat, and I was thinking as well, regarding the questions from from previous representatives. We don't know if there would have been other candidates or not because the call was never put out.
Right. Thank you. Wetlands, please.
Yeah, I think there were a couple items. One was that we suspend a part of our bylaws, and I think that before we go through that particular motion, we had this conversation last year, and that's a dangerous proposition unless we get legal involved. Suspension of anything is problematic. And secondly, there's nothing that states that we can't extend the interim RRO for Huron until we actually get um, a different ballot system set up. So, I mean, if we really want to get into it, I motion that we table this vote, and then I'll make a motion that we extend the interim for Huron as RRO.
Okay.
Rising Wind would second such a motion.
Rivermore, if I understand correctly, Rivermore would also second it, that we basically table until Q4 to allow for proper procedure, and Heron would be extended by 1 quarter, their term.
Okay. So that's cool. Tal DeGore, please.
I did also want to mention, some people did ask, did someone express interest in the past few days of this finding out? There is a battle knight, I believe, Sir Brognar Stonepaw, who is actively interested in the position, didn't know about it. So we did. I'm also in support of extending Heron's term interim until Q4 to have a proper election for this.
Okay. Crystal Gross, please.
So an option where we don't have to suspend or ignore any part of any of our documents would be just to vote to appoint the rules revision organizer as agended, and then tell everybody, put in your applications for rules rep organizer for Q4, and then open the Q4 meeting with a removal vote. And if it passes, we review candidates, and if it fails, we don't have to review candidates. Just as an option.
Yeah, that parses for me. Iron Mountains, please.
That is a very dangerous idea to bring up because if we do that, then we can start taking a look at any volunteer position and removing them and replacing them at any time.
We
That is a
literally
precedent
have
we do
that
not
power
want to set.
enumerated in our bylaws and the ROP explicitly. It's literally directly there in the document.
Okay.
And I would like to recede the remainder of my time to Smiley, please.
Hang on. So we have a motion submitted from Wetlands. Wetlands, could you please type that out in the chat? You were the one who came up with the formulation that Rivermore just agreed with, right?
Yep.
Could you please?
I'm attempting to now.
Thank you. So we have this motion that's seconded and thirded, and we're gonna vote on this motion. Because I am not gonna do that thing where we let motions just hang around unaddressed. So Rivermore, please speak while we're setting this up.
Oh, I was just going to speak on the previous suggestion that another fair member of the body put forward. The idea of that the current rules rep would be confirmed today, but then at the beginning of Q4, we would then have to vote to essentially unconfirm them if they were doing a bad job or whatever. And then and only then would we consider alternative individuals. And to me, that puts up an unfair barrier in front of what should have been an open process for anybody to equally apply. We don't normally have the barrier in front of an individual at the appointment time. But essentially the incumbent has to fail a vote first before anybody else can be considered. So I would disagree with that suggestion, and that's my reasoning why.
Okay. All right, we are going to stop discussing and vote. So if you have your hands up and you're trying to motion something different or motion to like amend this motion or something like that, then keep them up and we'll address it. But if you just want to discuss the merits of the amendment, then please lower them so we can vote. Okay, Rising Winds, please.
The rules of play in this specific section indicate that the rules rep organizer will be appointed every other year by the COM by majority vote. It does not stipulate that it has to be at this meeting. We still have one more meeting.
That is not how I remember it reading.
I can quote if you would like.
James, I apologize. I'm popping in for just a second. Milk, where's that at again?
I'm looking at the rules rep process, section 2, or II, section 2, the heading. The rules rep organizer will be appointed every other year by a common majority vote. The responsibilities of the RRO are as follows.
My copy says at the annual meeting, which is the Q3 meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. I may be looking at an older version. I can't tell. I'm looking on my phone.
That is how I got in this mess. I looked at an older version that said it happens in even years.
I just pulled it up from the AmpGuard website. It says at the annual meeting in odd years.
I stand corrected. I apologize.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what happened to me and while we're in this mess. Crystal Gross, please.
Oh, that was just my comment, was that it's the Q3.
Okay, cool. So we're voting on the motion to table. Starting with Blackspire, how do you wish to vote, Blackspire?
Blackspire votes no.
Thank you. Burning Lands, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Celestial Kingdom, please.
Celestial Kingdom votes no.
Thank you. Crystal Gross, please.
Sorry, just a second. Chewy just pointed out that it correctly, I believe, from my memory of the bylaws, that the annual meeting is no longer the annual meeting. The annual meeting is now all 4 meetings. So it may be possible to do that thing we were just talking about.
Okay, well, we are still proceeding with the vote.
Sorry. Yes, but that's why I was distracted. Table RO and appoint her interim. Yes.
Thank you. Desert Winds, please.
Desert Winds votes yes.
Thank you. Dragon Spine, please.
Dragon Spine votes yes.
Thank you. Emerald Hills, please.
Emerald Hills votes yes.
Thank you. This really, yeah. Golden Plains, please.
Golden Plains votes yes.
Golden Vale, please.
Golden Vale votes yes.
Iron Mountains, please.
Iron Mountains votes yes.
Thank you. Neverwinter, please.
Neverwinter abstains.
Thank you. Nine Blades, please.
Nine Blades votes yes.
Thank you. Northern Lights, please.
Northern Lights abstains.
Thank you. Northreach, please.
Northreach votes no.
Thank you. Polaris, please.
Polaris votes yes.
Thank you. Rising Winds, please.
Rising Winds abstains.
Thank you. Rivermore, please.
Rivermore votes yes.
Thank you. Taldegore, please.
Daldegor votes yes.
Thank you. 13 Roads, please.
13 Roads votes yes.
Thank you. Viridian Outlands, please.
Sorry, Viridian Outlines votes no.
Thank you. West March, please.
West March votes no.
Thank you. Wetlands, please.
Wetlands votes yes.
Thank you. Winter's Edge, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Crystal Groves, did you have something that was relevant to the vote outcome?
Yes. Well, maybe not the outcome. I'd like to change my vote to no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that is 14 yes, 16 no's. So the item is tabled. Yeah, and I agree what Smiley is saying. The annual meeting means the Q3 meeting, but this is tabled anyway. So it's Smiley's problem now. We are going to move on to the next, and I am sure much simpler items. Northern Lights, please.
Sorry, I just wanted to confirm because, well, it's my responsibility to do RRO things at the moment. With this being tabled, I just want to confirm that I am continuing on in this position at least until the next meeting.
Correct. You are the ROO.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. Wire. Okay, that was a thumb. Okay, cool. All right, election of AIBOD at-large members. This is the other thing that I messed up, although less dramatically. So I said that there were 3 open seats. There's actually 2 seats. So there's not 3, there's just 2. The 2 candidates with the highest number of points are going to get the open seats. Hopefully that is a very clear and understandable amendment. I'm not seeing any hands raised. Seems like everybody understands what happened there. So most of you have done this. Most of you have done this before, but as a reminder, the way this works is you are going to rank the 4 potential candidates from your first choice down to your 4th choice. Your first choice candidate will get 4 points. Your second choice candidate will get 3 points, and so forth. So the higher you rate a candidate, the more points they get. Then at the end, the 2 candidates with the highest point totals become the incoming new AIBOD members. So, and to clarify, you do have the option of no confidencing people. You can omit people from the rankings entirely. You also have the option of If you're ranking less than 4 people, not doing them first, second, third, like you can like skip a slot and be like first, second, fourth, if that makes sense. So hopefully that clarified how this vote works. Celestial Kingdoms, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if you could link in chat the resumes again. 'Cause I haven't looked at them in a little while, and I want to make sure I'm thinking of the right people to go with the right names.
Thanks. I believe the secretary is on that right now. So Lisa Belkey is currently on the board. I believe that's the only incumbent candidate. Iron Mountains, please.
I'm gonna request a recess so that for similar reasons to what Thad was just asking for, allow for time to kind of read over these resumes a little bit and refresh on them before we vote.
Okay, I am going to call a 9-minute recess. We are resuming at 3:45 Pacific, which is, I believe, 5:45 Central. All right, everyone seems okay with that. So we are now in recess.
I'm gonna have so much work to do.
Hmm.
Trying to remind everybody, you can no confidence vote
No, no. Well, actually, yes. Yes. Then it becomes Vidalia. What they can't do is no confidence, both of you. That's not allowed.
me. Yeah, that's true. It's true. It's a bad idea. You don't want to do that. But don't worry, guys. We'll address all these things. We'll get it together.
Yeah, both of them can't be no voted because I cannot.
Wait, if we both get no voted, doesn't that mean Reed has to be in charge?
Who?
Sorry about that. My internet went out. I'm back.
No problem.
Also,
What'd you
don't
say?
threaten me with being executive committee chair.
I was like, we can vote no confidence on both of you and vote no on both of you. I mean, challenge accepted.
But you guys can't vote no confidence on Reed from Burning Lands because he's by appointment.
Well, that's
So
true. I ain't got nothing to say about that one. We
we'll
weren't
just
talking
go.
about him.
We can just throw everything on him. I'm sure he'll appreciate it. I doubt he's even listening to this meeting.
Oh, I'm sure you would get an earful if that happened.
Did those resumes get linked and I'm just not seeing them? Like I'm trying to dig through the Discord right now to see if I can find them again.
The agenda has them. Oh, God.
I was gonna say, yeah, the agenda document has the hyperlink to the folder of all 4 applicants.
Okay.
Yeah,
Look in
I
our
thought
chat.
Vidalia was posting them, so I didn't. Now everyone's posting them, so I don't.
Yeah, it's being shared by everybody now. Just go to the chat. You're good to go. Hey, Kodiak, I saw that camera come on. I think you're ready to put that beard on the line for a fundraiser again.
Yeah, I think that's no. Don't do it. Just give money.
Why do I even say anything?
Just give money. That's all you need to do. Just throw money at the issue. It always goes away.
And we can help a
I've
lot
done
of
it
people.
twice. Someone else do it.
Hey, but you only did it with me once. You know?
I'm looking at Thad's beautiful beard right now.
Hey, don't make me hold your swords hostage.
I
you don't let
apologize
people
again for the
fight
internet
without the
interruptions.
beard.
I am back. I'm not going to link the candidate resumes because they're already posted in chat. So ready when you are.
Yeah, we're in recess at the moment.
So we'll forgive you once.
You're good to go.
Sorry.
Yeah, I guess we could, Kodiak, you're right. It could be me, you, and Thad. We could all put our facial hair on the line for a good fundraiser.
No one wants to see that.
Hey, I remember you with long hair.
I
Chris?
mean, yeah, I've had long hair, but I have shaved my beard, I think, a grand total of once since I started playing Amtgard, maybe twice.
It could
And
be
I don't
for a
like
good
the way my
cause.
chin looks. Nobody wants to see that.
Look, I did it last year for Movember. You know, they did the Movember for folks for mustache, right? So we shaved
Yeah.
in October just to grow a mustache in November.
Oh,
Yeah, never again.
is that a
Never
Kato?
again.
I think I saw Kato. Hold on. So Kato, Kodiak, Thad, Chewy. That's a big fundraiser, guys. I think
Yeah,
we
it
could
ain't happening.
I
I
think we
don't
could
want to. I don't want to see that face again.
look. We could raise some serious money for St. Jude Children's Hospital again. Just saying.
I'll just send them a few $100. I'm good.
I just donate. As long as I don't have to shave, I'll donate.
What I'll do is I'll just send a picture of my face shaved and say nobody needs to see this again, and then just send money. No, honey, I'm not doing it.
Chewy, honestly, if you would just put a bag over your head on a constant basis, I'd be okay with that.
You're lucky we're in a public forum.
Oh man, 5 minutes, 4 minutes. Can we have a countdown? Oh man.
Someone asked like right before the minute change.
Yeah, that's fair. You know what I do miss though, and Genocide
Autographs?
I miss the juice boxes all of a sudden.
Yeah, I missed never getting a juice box like was promised.
Well, should have came to the meeting. Not my problem.
Yeah, I didn't miss the juice box that much.
But I went to that meeting, Huey.
Yeah, that's
We
right.
could have hung out.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, my poor Monarch was like, why'd I have to sit in that? I was like, you didn't have to sit on it. I was in it. What were you doing on it? You didn't have to. Luckily, she was real nice about it. But it's always fun to show up.
What did we get at that one 2 years ago? Was it Panda Express?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
was
exactly-
welcome.
That was what
That was welcome.
Santa Fe. Yeah, we were up in Santa Fe on that one. Yeah, that's right. Man, that was good too.
We got juice boxes and Advil.
I got it next time. We'll DoorDash everybody a meal.
Nice.
I do know how to set that up.
Phoebe just laughed at her. She's like, "You're nuts."
No.
Well,
Smiley,
now.
Smiley, I want you to hand deliver me barbecue.
Deal done.
From where? El Paso? I mean, do they have great barbecue there? They have wonderful, wonderful Mexican food.
I mean, there's award-winning barbecue like within walking distance of my house. I'm in Dallas, so.
All right.
Oh yeah, but you're talking about like Terry Black's, aren't you?
We still got
No,
3
that's-
minutes.
That's I
T-minus
think
3
in
minutes.
Austin.
If y'all want to talk good barbecue, I got to throw the shed in Gulfport/Biloxi into the mix.
I'll take that.
Look, I'll try any barbecue at least 3 times. Because you
Same.
might have gotten it bad the first 2.
So you guys heard that. Brocktree agreed to also be part of the group with Kodiak, Chewy, Thad, and myself. Gave our facial hair to raise funds for St. Jude Children's Hospital.
I will actually do it for that, even though I look 12 when I shave.
All right.
Don't do that.
I appreciate you guys joining in with us. I'm going to set our goal at least 4,000 this year.
Yeah.
How much did you get last year?
Well, the last time I did it with Kodiak and everyone else, we hit 3,000, and my cap for myself personally was 3,000. So I had to shave the mustache. I think Cato's cap was like $5 because he shaved immediately.
Hey, just so y'all know, and since Smiley wants to play the game, we can play the game of escalation and we can make it happen. Just so I've got everybody on here, and we're still streaming to YouTube, I hope. Are we paused?
I have not been,
No, we're
I
still
have not been
streaming.
pausing them. We're streaming.
So
I love this.
everybody just know that when Smiley comes to an event or when you see him, he loves you to walk up and ask for his autograph.
Look,
So
if
make sure that
everybody-
happens.
if everybody associated with AICOM, AIBOD actually puts, their hair or facial hair, like I'll shave my head or I'll shave my face on the line to help raise funds for St. Jude Children's Hospital, I'll stand in line for hours to assign autographs. I don't care. But it'd be a great way for Amtgard
Game on, buddy.
to
Game
show
on.
support for St. Jude Children's Hospital and fighting cancer.
I mean, I would, but for the next couple of years, I still got to get rid of it once a month anyway because the whole card thing. So
I see, but that's it. Like you get to sit the lowest price. Like you're like, hey, my goal's $20. Done. Yeah, easy.
I mean, I did fight a war over mine, and it is immortal. So
Do you,
All right, I
do you
think we're
guys
about at
understand
time.
what you're doing right now?
We're
You're
we're giving you an anxiety attack. That's
look,
what we're doing right
I'm willing to look stupid for a month or two if it means that kids get help they need. So
now. Kids get help they need. What now, Kodiak?
All right. Do any of the Kingdom reps want a little more time with the AOBOD applicant resumes? Please raise your hand if you do. So either nobody does or they do, but they have the meeting on mute while they read. Either way, we're gonna move forward from here because we are at 3:45. We are back in session now, and we are well, as soon as the secretary screen shares and gets the vote record for the BOD vote back up, we're gonna start.
Should be ready.
There we go. I see it. Blackspire, are you ready?
Yes.
Please give your votes for AIBOD.
Lisa Belkey, then Amber Hodges, then Andrea Carter, and then Nick Larson.
Thank you. Burning Lands, please.
Nick Larson, Lisa Belkey, Andrea Carter, Amber Hodges.
Thank you. Celestial Kingdom, please.
Lisa Belkey, Nick Larson, Amber Hodges, Andrea Carter.
Crystal Gross, please.
Hodges, Carter, Belkey, Larson.
Thank you. Desert Winds, please.
Lisa Belkey, Nick Larson, Amber Hodges, Andrea Carter.
Thank you. Dragon Spine, please.
Larson, Belkey, Carter, Hodges.
Thank you. Emerald Hills, please.
Belkey, Larson, Hodges, Carter.
Thank you. Golden Plains, please. Golden Plains, are you there?
Oh, is it not going through?
Didn't
you-
hear.
Okay, there we go. It'll be Belkey, Larson, Carter, and Hodges. Thank you.
Thank you. Golden Veil, please.
Elke, Hodges, Larson, Carter.
Thank you. Iron Mountains, please.
Belkey, Carter, Hodges, no confidence.
Thank you. Neverwinter, please. Neverwinter, are you there?
I apologize. Sorry. My thing was off. We'll do Belkey, Carter, right? That is Carter. Hudge, and Nick.
Thank you. Nine Blades, please. Nine Blades, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, my mic was above my head. Okay, Lisa Belkey, Andrea Carter, Nick Larson, and Amber Hodges.
Thank you. Northern Lights, please.
Let's see, Belkey, Hodges, Carter, no confidence.
Thank you. Northreach, please.
That would be Belkey, Hodges, Carter, and then Larson.
Thank you. Polaris, please.
Belkey, Hudgens. Sorry, I'm on mobile. Carter, Larson.
Thank you. Rising Winds, please.
Belkey, Hodge, Carter, Larson.
Thank you. Rivermore, please.
Thank you. Belkey, Amber Hodges, Andrea Carter, Nick Larson. Thank you.
Aldegore, please.
Belkey, Carter, Hodges, Larson. Larson. Hello?
Yeah,
Yes, I hear
Right,
you. The
okay.
transcript was covering the drop-down menu. I
Gotcha.
apologize.
You're good. You're
Yeah, I thought you were just lagged or something. 13 Roads, please.
Belkey, Hodges, Carter, Larson.
Thank you. Viridian Outlands, please.
Hodges, Belkey, Carter, no confidence.
Thank you. West March, please.
Hodges, Belkey, Carter, no confidence.
Thank you. Wetlands, please.
Hodges, Belkey, Larson, and Carter.
Thank you. Winter's Edge, please.
Belkey, Hodges, Carter, Larson.
Okay. Please. Yeah, exactly. Get everything on screen. All right. So I'm going to pause for a second here. I'd like everyone to please review the selections for the kingdom and make sure the secretary has everything recorded accurately. And it looks like this is the case. So that being so, the results of this vote are that Lisa Belkey and Amber Hodges are the two incoming AIBOD members. Congratulations to both of them. And we are almost done with this meeting. We are almost out of here. So proceeding onwards to the next item. The election of the executive committee secretary. You have exactly one candidate, which is to appoint for a full 2-year term the current interim executive secretary, Lauren Darby, who has been serving as secretary through this meeting for a few months before this. There are no other candidates. You may make a motion to nominate another candidate at this point if you desire. If I do not see any motions like that or any other unexpected business, we are going to conduct this vote by assumed consent, which is basically I'm going to assume that you all are voting yes to your only candidate. And those of you who wish to vote no or abstain or do something funny can raise your hands and we will record what you want to do. Hopefully that procedure makes sense. I'm not seeing any questions about it. So we're going to go into it. Everyone who does not wish to vote yes, yeah, you are Chewy. Everyone who wishes to vote, who does not wish to vote yes, please raise your hand now. Okay, there's no hands. So with 23 yeses, Lauren Darby is your executive committee secretary. Sorry, I said this was for a full term. That's not correct. She is transferring from. Oh no, wait, this is a full term. This is when I would have ended my term. So this is the start of a new secretary term. So she is secretary for 2 years from now. So that said, we have one more item on the agenda, which is the election of a new executive committee chair. So this is the one that's for 1 year. The chair was not supposed to be up for election at this meeting. However, the previous chair, Gavin, stepped down, and instead of having the executive secretary serve as chair for the next year, we are instead electing a pro tem chair to serve out the rest of Gavin's 1 year term. And the only candidate that we have for this position is Dusty Marshall, aka Smiley, who you are very familiar with by this point. At this point, if there are any nominations of other candidates, you may make them. And if there are no such nominations, there are no motions relevant to the vote, we are going to proceed as we did for the secretary vote with an assumed yes. And I am going to ask that everybody who wishes to vote something other than yes, please raise their hand at this point. All right, there are no hands. So with 23 yeses, Dusty Marshall is your incoming executive committee chair for the next year. Awesome. I believe that is everything we had on our agenda. Yes, that is everything we had on our agenda. So I am going to motion to close the meeting.
Seconded.
All right, I am going to solicit unanimous consent to close the meeting. So everyone in favor of closing the meeting, say aye.
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 Everyone who does not want to close, say nay. Awesome. Meeting is closed. Thank you all for your participation. Thank you all for taking the time to go through the extensive pre-ballot process before this meeting, which was obviously absolutely instrumental in getting it done within a reasonable time frame. Thank you so much. And thank you, Heron, for preparing that for us, and for the secretary for all the work that she put into processing that data. So yeah, that's it for the annual meeting, you guys. Obviously, if you're on AIBOD, you're going to need to stick around for some more stuff, but the rest of you are free to go. And I'm not the chair anymore, so I can't tell anybody when they can and can't talk at this point. Just work on that.
I would probably stop recording.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent suggestion.
Yeah, so that we can really talk some shit